God bless.
If I trust in Jesus, I am saved. To an absolute certainty I cannot say, but am I assured? Yes, truly. I say yay. Are we even here? Philosophers do argue. We think and so might be, however, truly for me, if I am not here, I care not a smatter. And so you'll see, we exist, or who cares? And so Christ's sacrifice does matter, because if I exist, I need his splatter. Blood spilled on the cross for me and you. Blood poured out, making believers restored, righteous to be eternal with our Lord. So I got sacrifice, torn flesh for me, was the heavenly gift all could see. So again, if I'm not here, then it doesn't matter. So let us assume our feet pitter-patter. Let us proceed as though we exist. Let us not fight philosophical blather. It's nice to navel gaze, asking this is true. Do I truly exist, or am I really stew? A figment, you see. Am I not even a dream, a daydream at sea? I choose to instead assume I'm not dead. I choose to believe I exist and bleed instead. Now we assume we are truly here. The next question is, to whom do we fear? Is there a God up in the heavens, or waking on earth and breaking unleavened? The historical Jesus was such a great figure. Even other groups see his teachings still linger. Even those who deny he rose from the dead have to accept that's what his followers said. So the only information we have is he did wake again, a fact many wish not to ever contend. They don't wanna hear he was healing them all, raising the dead, the paralyzed. He had gall. The Pharisees didn't like Jesus' pluck, so they decided to make him a dead duck. So as we exist, also God, Father, Spirit, Messiah, let our belief follow his divine desire. Let us believe, repent, and be saved before time runs out and we enter the grave. If I do exist, I can be confident, you see, 'cause Christ on the cross made righteous me. No more what if, no navel stare for me, because Jesus Christ, my Savior, he be. This I am assured, and I trust the claim, and anyone else was sets aside their shame. We can't do enough to satisfy God. That is why Messiah's death spares me the rod. He saves me from death, for my sins, you see. A faith claim indeed, but based on the three. Our triune God, his love for creation, makes all of us eligible for punishment, cessation. So don't worry, friends, if you really exist. Don't be concerned if doubt does exist. Hold up hope based on evidence. We see the hope that salvation is offered to thee. Certainty may not be absolutely true, but close to certain is what I am showing. So give the Lord's love a detailed look. Find out why his death caused earth to have shook.
Hey guys, I thought I would just continue with the conversation unless you wanted to change to something else. Hey, welcome up.
Hey, God bless, brother. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good, good, good. Where's everyone else? Don't be scared.
Yeah, we were talking about the Acts 15 and Galatians 2. We're welcome to go on to something new. I just thought that we were having a good conversation, so I thought I'd keep it going.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but I don't mind where we want to go. You got anything different you'd like to talk about?
No, not really. But yeah, if anyone wants to come join up, the link's there. Just look it and make sure you don't click out of it. Make sure you click at least allow this time or something. So.
Yes, with like Pedro was correct in part that there was discussion about circumcision, and that is one of Paul's big things through Galatians. But he forgot that in Galatians 9, it literally dates Galatians to after Acts 15, because he talks about them being sent out, and in Acts 15 at the start, that is the commissioning of Paul and Barnabas to be sent out to their mission field, which I find really funny because it seems like it's backwards to what Pedro was saying. And Peter in Acts 10 was told by God that the Gentiles were acceptable and was sent to Cornelius. That was the point of the vision of the unclean and clean foods. So he already knew that the Gentiles were acceptable. It doesn't say he was then teaching circumcision to them. It doesn't specifically deny it, except for his actual debate in Acts 15.
Right, right. Yeah, it's not the circumcision, the physical circumcision, but the circumcision of the heart is that is important.
Yeah.
I think I just
So,
don't understand like these type of discussions. I think the text is just very plain on what it says, and I think people try to go too far into add stuff to what the text is saying, you
yeah,
know. Like Peter was being rebuked like about the eating and that because he was showing favoritism. He was favoritizing the Jews over the Gentiles when the Bible says to not do that. And
yes,
he was rebuked many times for doing certain things like that, showing favoritism.
yeah. And it even says, but when they arrived, he began to draw back and separate himself from the Gentiles because he was afraid of those who belonged to the circumcision group. The other group joined him in his hypocrisy. So by their hypocrisy, even Barnabas was led astray. It's him drawing away from them that was the issue. Um, that is the hypocrisy that Paul is identifying specifically. Yes, he was drawing away to the group who were preaching circumcision, but that doesn't mean he was necessarily preaching circumcision. That's just saying, well, I don't want to be ousted by this group, so I'm going to play nice with them.
This is what you have up right now?
This is Galatians 2.
Okay, Galatians 2. Okay, yeah, because I was thinking of this Galatians, because even in Galatians, Paul quotes that there is neither Jew nor Gentile, bond nor free, for all one in Christ. So Peter trying to show a division or favoring one over the other was against what Paul was teaching.
Yes, and um, it was that separation that was the issue.
Does he
Um,
does he go into detail about why he was doing such things? He just feared them, right? He was just
it
afraid.
From my memory, I can only think of these verses where it talks about him fearing them.
Yeah, fearing them. In what way
Um,
though?
I suspect because of the Jewish traditions that if you're seen eating with the Gentiles, basically that causes issues with you then being allowed back into the temple.
Hmm.
I suspect it might have had more to do with that, but that's pure speculation. And all we actually have is he withdrew from them, and it was the hypocrisy that Paul called out.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I didn't. That's why I asked questions. I didn't. I had no
Yeah.
clue. It's always good to ask questions.
Yeah. Anyone else want to come up and join us? Yep, no fire here. That's all right.
How you doing today, though?
Yeah, still a bit rough with the pain because, um, yeah, but my back or my implant's still screwed up. So
Mm,
having a lot more pain and a lot more medication to try and deal with it.
yeah. Yeah, you said you're supposed to get that sorted out, get surgery. Yeah, so I'm praying for that and for that to come soon and everything to be taken care of. The cost now.
Yes. would be good because I'm a lot more foggy and very sleep deprived. That's what it's.
Yeah, yeah, that's not good. Yeah. Oh my.
So, what other things do you think these days we do as per circumcision that the church teaches that isn't necessarily a requirement under the Bible?
Uh, like nowadays or what?
Yeah,
That the church teaches that is not what the Bible teaches.
yeah, or that are extra conditions that we
Um,
don't necessarily see in the Bible.
and I had to think about that. It's yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I'm trying to think of something, but it's not really coming to mind. I'd have to take a minute to think. Do you have anything?
Well, it's interesting in the Churches of Christ slash Baptist realm. One of them was alcohol, abstaining from alcohol.
Yeah.
And part of that came out of the Puritan movement in the US, and
Hmm.
part of it came or was argued to have come out of the Alcoholics Anonymous and caring for people with um, addictions. And the caring for people with addictions argument I understand, but that would only be in situations where you're having an outreach to an addiction group, where the just coming out of the Puritans thing, I think, was people adding to the scriptures. Where I would say if it was good enough for Jesus' first miracle to be to turn water into wine, then it seems like it's not the alcohol as such, but it's the overindulgence of alcohol that is what the scripture contravenes.
Right, because even the Bible talks about like a wine is good for the stomach and certain things. It's just like you said, it's overindulgence and this and that. I think if you can sit there as a person and control that and have maybe a glass of wine and not get drunk in that, then so be it. But there's a lot of people that you maybe had problems with that before they got saved, or maybe you can't control that type of stuff, so they should stay away from it. Like myself. So I just don't drink at all.
Yeah.
Me personally.
And not drinking is not a problem because, we're not told we have to drink. We, um, we just are allowed to drink. That's the difference.
Yeah, right. One thing that came to my mind is tithing. Like, there's a lot of preachers and people out there teaching that you have to tithe, which is not in the New Testament, because the New Testament teaches that God loves a cheerful giver, to give out of love and not out of like feeling forced to.
Yes.
I think
I,
that's a
I
thing
would
that I've seen a
teach
lot.
we should tithe because we see throughout the Bible that God tells us to to give back to Him. But that's different to we have to or we should do it because this is an obligation upon us. This
Hmm.
is a reminder and a joy for us to remember what God has given to us.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Um,
talking about like tithing can by like the
yeah,
Old Testament standard.
like
That's what I'm talking about.
people tracking, give us 10% of your wealth or you're out
Right.
of the church.
Yeah, yeah. It's like that in some of these churches, these false churches, and this and that. Like, if you don't give this much, or I need $1,000, man. If you don't give $1,000,
Yes,
that's crazy.
Mormon. I haven't. I don't think I know
Oh,
you.
hello. Hi guys. It's Macintosh. It's Macintosh Pro.
I could instantly tell by your voice, brother. I could instantly tell
There
by
you
your
go.
voice.
Okay, great.
Your voice is distinct. How you doing, brother?
Okay, perfect. Beautiful. Sorry. No, the thing is that there was someone making he was making a live and it said only Mormons and Muslims. So I became a Mormon for that one. There's Pokemon, Digimon, and Mormons according to me. So I
Oh
really
my
wanted the Mormon.
That's
Sorry, I
funny.
didn't change it.
That is funny. That's a good one. Jeez.
Well, welcome, Mormon.
Mormon. Oh my goodness. That's a good play on words there.
Okay, I'm changing it right now because
Well, that's hilarious.
I wrote my name wrong. What's happening with me? Okay.
I was
Nikitosh.
gonna say another thing I've been seeing more recently is the Oneness Pentecostals. If you know about them, they're teaching on that you
Yes.
must speak in tongues to be saved, or that you must,
Yes.
yeah, stuff like that, like some of their false teachings. And I've seen a lot of people, even supposed Christians, like watching people like Geno Jennings and some of these people who teach against the Trinity and teach against the gospel. And I think I see it infiltrating even the church, and people are believing some of these things.
Yeah, and that's a real shame because these gifts of the Spirit are just that, gifts of the Spirit. We shouldn't be judging people because they have one gift and not another.
You're right.
Paul is very clear that different people are given different gifts. So the stupidity of, well, if you don't speak in tongues, you don't truly have the Holy Spirit, is, well,
Yeah.
you clearly can't read.
Yeah, the Bible says the Holy Spirit gives the gifts severally as He wills, as He, the Holy Spirit, wills.
It's like
So
the
it's a,
wind, for sure.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. I just think like in these last days, there's just so much false teaching being brought into the church, and there's a lot of Christians believing these lies, and then they're being deceived, as the Bible says would happen. You know, like 1 Timothy 4 and that. You know. Hello, Sheik. Are
Shake
you
that. Shake that ass. Welcome.
Sheik
It's
Tataz?
Datus, not
Sheik
that.
Tataz. Wait, who's that?
It's me, Kiefer.
Oh, Kifa. God bless, brother. Man, so just don't start talking out your Alzoots, dude.
Oh yeah, no. Then I'll keep that on the D-Lo.
We're becoming the Trini bros, I guess.
I don't think. Oh man, that's funny.
Shake it, just don't let it speak. Because you nullify prayer if it speaks.
Oh my goodness.
No issues. Beautiful.
Okay, yeah. Okay, perfect. Beautiful.
Yeah, let's pop in and say hello. Hey, Chris.
Hey, welcome.
I came to basically say hello, and I didn't want your panel to just go away fast. That's basically my point. If someone wants to jump in and make a question, that's great. I always have good questions, but I never have them when I need them. That's all.
Yeah, you always have them when you're in the chat box. Then the host never sees it when you like type it in.
Yes. Well, there's so much going on because you got to try and keep track of what you're saying, who's coming up, what you're putting on the screen, and then trying to track the chat as well. You miss stuff. You always miss stuff.
Look at my profile picture. Who do you think that is? What do you think that is? Macintosh, you already know what it is.
It's the guy that invented algebra.
Well, I don't know if you guys have it in the USA. That little frog is the picture on the chocolate bar called Freddo's. Freddo's chocolate.
No, I don't think
Yeah.
that's in the U.S.
Oh, you just don't have it. Okay, then the meme would have worked.
I don't think so. I've never seen that.
So think about it. Okay, then I'll give you the first one. Freddo. Honor. Pedo. There you go. I'll just give it to you.
like we have Fritos, which is a corn chip, but not like a chocolate named that. Yeah.
No.
But you guys have those memes where they put two pictures together.
Wait, what?
You know, you have those memes. I don't know if you've seen them. They have these memes where they put two pictures together, and you got to like say what it is. This is
I
like one
don't.
of those sort of games,
I
sort of
don't.
like charades sort of thing, but with images.
I don't know. I don't know if I've seen that. I know what trades is. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about that though. I'm not too sure.
Like for instance, you see the sun and you say, "Oh, that's Ray," and then you have like something that like I don't know, like what is it, like logo that is like saying like Ghostbusters, that is not it's saying no to this. It's like Ray,
Yeah,
and then it's a ban. So you say Ray ban, okay, and then it's how you go. You
yeah,
But
understand?
he.
yeah. Or there's like an eye, like a picture of an eyeball, like an eyeball. Obviously, you know, there's going to be the letter I, something. You know,
Oh,
this is like a
I
imagery
sort.
charades.
I sort of know what you're talking about. Like on YouTube, people have like a thing where it'll have like a word, multiple words, and then you got to spell it out. You know, like I'm trying to think of a thing, but I can't. What's up, Alton?
Hey,
Everybody
Elton.
serious.
Hey, grace
This
and
is
peace, grace and
Alden.
peace.
Hey, grace and peace, brother.
All right,
God bless you,
so
man.
Hey,
okay, so according to the scriptures that we were reading tonight, you know, like with Pedro and all of that, and I think that you guys kind of made some good points on both sides, but the one of the positions that I would say that I've always heard when it came to like Peter and the circumcision crowd, it seems like that it was always pointing to the fact that Peter was eating with those guys, not necessarily partaking in in what they partook in, but that last, I want to say it's that last verse where it talks about that Peter was kind of like he was kind of and I'm trying to remember exactly what the verse, you know, say it verbatim, but you know, because I'm away from my computer right now, but basically saying that he was acting in hypocrisy by telling the Jews that they had to live like Jews. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that's one of the parts where I was like, oh well, dang, they might have a point on that. Because it doesn't seem like that it was just Peter just merely just eating with them. It seems like it may have been something else. But go ahead.
yeah. So you're meaning like, um, well, reading from 11, when Cephas came to Antioch, I opposed him to his face because he stood condemned. For before certain men came from James, he used to eat with the Gentiles, but when they arrived, he began to draw back and separating himself from the Gentiles because he was afraid of those who belonged to the circumcision group. The other Jews joined him in his hypocrisy, so that by their hypocrisy even Barnabas was led astray. When I saw they were not acting in line with the truth of the gospel, I said to him in front of them all, "You are a Jew, yet you live like a Gentile, and not like a Jew. How is it then that you force Gentiles to follow Jewish customs?" It's that last line that you're thinking particularly.
That
Yeah,
part. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so
yeah,
basically you would say that your argument is more directed towards the fact that Peter was kind of hanging out with them until the Jews came around, and then when the Jews came around, he tried to kind of like distance himself, like, no, 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 I'm not really with them like that. But then when the Jews are not around, then that's when he's, you know, hanging out with them and all of that stuff.
yeah. Um, my argument would be that it wasn't necessarily what he was teaching so much as the fact that he withdrew to them, and just his presence with them might have implied all sorts of other teachings, like the circumcision and stuff, because he was eating with that crowd. Um, People, I'm sure, were then arguing that he was teaching circumcision, whether he was or not. But I think the thing Paul was specifically arguing about was before these guys turned up, you were playing nice with the Gentiles, and now you're not. That's hypocrisy. We're all the one people.
Yeah, I believe he was showing favoritism. Like he was like, oh, well, I'm going to go be with the Jews now, not the Gentiles. When the Bible teaches not to be divided, the body of Christ. So he was showing favoritism, I believe. from what the pastor's saying.
Yeah, and that's you know, I think that that's where the point of contention was, and like I said, I think that the view that Pedro and some of the other guys had, I'm just like, I don't know if I've heard it explained like that, or I don't know if I remember anybody explaining that Peter was teaching circumcision. The way that I've always understood it was that, he was, on the one hand, kind of like playing both sides, when he's with the, when he's with the Gentiles, it's all good and dandy, but when he's with the Jews, he's like acting a different way. He's kind of like with the circumcision crowd who are saying that, yeah, you need to have this done in order to be saved. But, he gets around the Gentiles and it's kind of like he's saying something different. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that interpretation. Yeah, I don't know where they get he was teaching that you had to be circumcised, because I don't see that being taught per se in the chapter or whatnot.
Yes. I would argue that since his actual speech in Acts 15 contradicts the concept of teaching the circumcision, I would suggest that he is unlikely to change his position from when he met with Cornelius and then switch back again during the discussion with the guys in Acts 15, and then, switch back again by the end of the conversation in Acts 15. That seems like a stretch. To me, it seems more likely that he might have gone silent about circumcision, but really in his heart, he's going, but God accepted these people. And when they have the debate, he stands up and says, seriously, guys, if God said yes, what do we do now? Obviously, we go with God.
yeah, I think I do get your point on that. But so, are we saying that Paul had to rebuke the first pope? Is that what we're saying?
Oh yeah.
That Paul had to
Yep.
come in and rebuke the first pope?
Yep. Yes, he did.
Okay, so what would that make Paul then, if Paul has the authority to rebuke the first pope?
He's the Pope among popes.
Yep. He was prima popa.
Oh man.
But really,
didn't know
James
such
is
a
the
title
first pope.
existed. So
Yes, he was one of the chief popes.
One of the chief popes? Oh, come on, Chris. Come on.
Sorry, Matt J said the chief of all popes. And so
Oh man,
it
had to pull
reminded me of Daniel
10:13. Right. Jeez.
Paul was one of the chief popes.
yeah, that's I think I wanted to ask that, but it was like too many people on the panel. Plus, I didn't want to derail the conversation because I wanted to see, like, especially coming from the Roman Catholics, what what authority did Paul have to rebuke the Pope? So, and I wanted to kind of go down that rabbit hole, but I said, nah, that's gonna end up taking us too far off course. So let me just kind of like fall back and just let's just rock out with this whole circumcision thing, because and that's one of the things that I was trying to get out of MacDan and Monk, especially when it came to circumcision, because it seems like that both of them were saying two different things. MacDan was saying that that circumcision was required, or that circumcision was required for salvation. So therefore, that's how baptism is kind of like a precursor or a shadow of, or circumcision, I'm sorry, is a shadow of baptism to come. So therefore, since circumcision was required to be done in order to have salvation, and therefore that's why you have to be baptized in order to attain salvation. But it seems like that monk, it seemed like he disagreed with that. He was just like, no, that's not what the text is saying. So, but hopefully I can get an answer between those two guys and see what they got to say about that. See why they differ.
And I think Yuki had a point when he pointed out that Gentiles were living amongst the Jews as resident aliens. But he said that they were part of the citizens, and they weren't part of the citizens. I don't believe. I believe they were part of the community, but they weren't God's chosen people. To be God's chosen people, you had to be circumcised, and that was part of the point with the council in Jerusalem. Was they were saying, we are now talking about who can be part of God's kingdom, God's body, and they ruled, well, it's about your faith in Christ. It's not about whether you're circumcised.
Yeah, because even to that point, you know, then that would kind of kill the whole idea that baptism is necessary for salvation. Like you have to get baptized in order to be saved. But even Roman Catholics and even Orthodox will tell you that although you do get baptized, it doesn't guarantee that that you're going to be saved. So it's just kind of like, well, now you guys are kind of taking more of the Protestant position to where we will say that a person who is saved will be baptized, because they're going to want to get baptized. But, we know that just because a person gets baptized doesn't automatically mean that they're saved. But I just think that it's confusing when they say that baptism is a requirement for salvation, but then they turn around and say, well, just because you get baptized, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be saved. Even when it comes to the sacraments, you can do all of the church's sacraments and you can do it perfectly, but they say that, in the end, it's still up to God. It's almost like with Islam, even when I've had conversations with Islamists, and I'm like, okay, so you tell me if I do all of these things that is required of me, taking the Shahada and all of that stuff, does that mean that I'm going to be in good standing with God Almighty? And they're just like, nope, it's still up to God. And I remember I asked the Muslim one time, and I said, are you telling me that if I become like the perfect Muslim, when I die and when God gets ready to judge me, there's still a possibility that I can end up in hell? And they were just like, yep. And I'm like, well, how do I know if I can have assurance and be in a good standing with this God? And their answer is just like, well, you just wait and see, just wait and see. And I'm just like, it's 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 like I almost hear the same thing from Roman Catholics and Orthodox.
Yes,
It's like it's
Muhammad
all,
didn't. Muhammad didn't even know that he was going to Jannah. And
yeah.
in Islam, everyone goes to hell, and then they hope that they get taken out of it. But it,
Whoa, that's
that's the
like
thing that
purgatory doctrine.
assures us. Well, not so much, because purgatory, they know that they're going
It's
to
like an in
heaven.
between place.
They're
Yeah.
just chilling at the bus stop, just to
Right.
work off their sin that Jesus didn't forgive, or that Jesus didn't deal with, which
Kind of
is
like
my issue with
Beetlejuice.
that.
He said Beetlejuice.
Yeah, it is. Look like Beetlejuice.
And
Yeah.
it's about, temporal sin versus spiritual sin, and that you're working off the temporal sin, which I don't believe. I think Jesus does the whole whack, and Jesus forgives us completely.
Amen.
Which is my problem with purgatory. But in their way, it's not so much. It's sort of like Islam, because those who believe they are going to Jannah are waiting in hell until Allah comes and gets them. But it's not the same, because people chilling in hell have no clue if Allah is going to take them to heaven, where anyone in purgatory, according to the Catholics, will go to heaven. It's just a matter of time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I think that I was hearing you guys not too long ago on CK's channel talk about how the Eastern Orthodox, on the one hand, they say, well, we don't really have a doctrine of purgatory, but they have something similar called like the toll houses or something like that.
Yes, correct. Yeah, they call it the toll houses. It's very similar. They just don't like to call it purgatory. They don't like to take from the Catholics.
Yeah, which is weird because it's like some of the things that they do believe are kind of the same. Like, for instance, I've had Orthodox people get mad at me because they'll say, well, we don't believe in transubstantiation. And they're just like, well, our church never used that term of transubstantiation. And then I go to the Confession of Dositheus. I want to say maybe it's Decree 10. And it talks about like the Eucharist and all of that stuff. And he clearly uses the term transubstantiation, you know. And I remember I pointed that out to one Orthodox guy, and this dude he got so upset with me, he was threatening to dox me. And I'm like, why are you getting mad at me because of what your church says? You know,
Yes.
he got
That's what
upset.
Muslims do.
sources.
Yeah.
How do you get mad at someone for teaching? Like, you're teaching him what your church teaches, and they get mad at it? That's just ridiculous.
You were gonna get orthodoxed.
He's an Orthodox.
Amazing.
I just find it crazy that even like on Siki's panel, or like when one of the EO church fathers came up on the panel, you probably know who I'm talking about. And
you're talking about is that Father Ron?
Yeah, and asked them about the gospel. What is the gospel? Well, the church. And then you hear Stevie DeYoung when CK played a video the other day and asked Gavin Orland asked him what is the gospel, and he can't even answer it. It's like crazy. Like, the gospel is our salvation, and it's the only way to be saved. And you're supposed to be the one true church, but you can't give us how to be saved.
Isn't it in the name itself?
Is the good news of our salvation. Our salvation
It's
is
in the
correct.
name.
Yeah.
You can't give us the good news. That's the one true church. That's just crazy.
He did know Sin City though, so he knows about sin. I'm saying it because he had the full collection of Sin City. Like, that's not nothing, you know. Like, he had all of it. Frank Miller, Sin City, from beginning
The
to
Sin City, that black and white movie, but you see like hints of red.
Yeah, I think like Nicolas Cage is in that.
Yeah.
So Bruce Willis is what I remember.
Bruce Willis. I knew it was one of those. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know why I thought it was Nicolas Cage, but yeah, it is.
Like a red tie is the only thing that's red is like his tie or something.
Yeah, and
Randy. What's that style? Art Nouveau or something?
Art Nouveau.
I think that's a Quentin Tarantino movie, right?
Something like that. Yes, it's an old school.
Okay.
Noir.
And noir. That's
yeah.
Everything is grey, except the occasional pop of color.
It's called high contrast in art.
Well, is the blood too? The blood's red too. Everything when the shoots on, I think blood comes out red too.
Yes. An atheist minister. Minster. What's going? An atheist minister would be an interesting contradiction.
What in the world is an atheist minister?
I'm pretty sure that if you
what does that even mean?
It'll pop up.
I'm
almost sure that there's probably an atheist minister out there somewhere.
Well, is he like a yoga instructor or like I'm confused.
Well, they got a minister of mushrooms. You got the mushroom guy who's like a minister.
No, geez, don't even get us started on that.
The Church of Shrooms.
There's that Church of Spaghetti Man in this guy. There's a minister. I've seen that guy.
The Spaghetti Monster Church.
Oh yeah, the atheists love to use that. You guys, it's the spaghetti god or this and that, and up in the sky. Like, come on, man. Atheism is just a stupid word. It really is. Everyone knows there's a god. They just suppress it in unrighteousness, as the Bible teaches.
I don't think there's any such thing as an atheist. You're either just agnostic.
Yeah, you just wouldn't
No,
know
no.
who the god is. Exactly.
No,
You can deny.
some
You know?
truly
Yeah.
deny the possibility of a god.
Yeah, but I'm saying that
Like
goes
some of
against
them,
the scriptures, though. Like
some of them
Romans
try
1.
to stick to it and start talking about atoms and atoms and atoms and electrons and vacuum forces and blah blah blah.
Yes.
The atom and the Eve.
Who created the atom? What's in the atom?
Yeah. I spent 2 hours talking to someone to get to the point where we finally established that we couldn't prove that we existed, but we should at least accept the possibility that we existed and move from there because we're having the conversation.
That's crazy. You even have
Was
to
that
have a discussion
JJD?
like that.
I was
No,
there.
Well, even,
No. JJD is much smarter and more reasonable than that. And
Yeah.
can
Okay,
at least accept simple axioms that if we don't exist, then there's no point in discussing whether we exist because it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
like, if even though you don't believe in the God of Abraham, you got to at least believe that there's a first mover and the existence of the first movement, the first, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing. There can't be something that is. There got to be a creator. Nothing doesn't create. There has to be someone that has created the world we live in. That is outside
Well,
of
we
time,
would
space,
argue
and
that.
matter.
They would argue that that's
Well, I'm
not
just saying
the
it's.
case.
Well, I'm just saying
They would
it's.
argue that it's all random, in which case they have lots of problems with ethics and things because, like we even have in the current discussion, Paul was rebuking Peter for going back to his old ethics, remembering that Jesus had, or that the gospel had come to the Gentiles as well, and pointing out, no, our new ethics is not the Jewish tradition. Our new ethics is God has opened himself up to everyone.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so atheism, the same thing. We need to say, well, where do you get your ethics? You clearly, most of them get it from Christianity.
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, we got someone in the chat. His name is Carnivorius8. He's an ordained minister and he's an atheist also, and he does weddings.
What?
That makes no
There you go.
sense.
No, it don't.
Yep, I figured that it wasn't going to be long before we either looked it up and saw it, but I wasn't expecting no one to actually
Right.
to be in the chat saying that.
Yeah,
I
you
wonder,
can- like,
trolling,
come on.
Carnivorous Ape, are you trolling or are you? Yeah,
That's
you
gotta
need
be
to
a
come
troll.
up
Up
like
if you
real
want.
quick.
Are you LGBTQ too?
I'll go on mute just to listen, honestly. You're not getting ganged up there. I'll go on mute.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I won't say anything. But I would be curious to know, how does that work? How is he an
I'm just
ordained minister?
curious.
Mm.
Exactly.
And do you have a text that you work from?
Yeah,
By the powers of what?
that is yeah, I would like to know that too.
What? Yeah, by the powers of what do you make them husband and wife?
Yeah, under
come
what
on up.
authority?
Come on up. The link's at the bottom of the chat. I think
How many
we
people can you hold here,
There were
Chris?
6. So we've
Well,
got
I'm gonna
room
go
for
ahead
one.
and I'm gonna go ahead and
no,
hop off. I gotta
no,
I
Alton,
gotta finish
Oh,
packing.
man.
Huh?
All right. No problem, Elton. Well,
Okay,
thanks for the
thank
chat.
God
Yeah,
bless
God
you,
Yeah,
man.
Praying for safe travels for you, brother.
Oh yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I gotta right now it's currently 11:28 p.m. I gotta get up at like 5 and I gotta hit the road at 6.
Man, you slacking, man.
I know, man. I'm supposed to already be asleep, but I don't know. It's Chris. It's already like half of the day, half of Monday is already gone over there. So I think I'm on Chris's time right now. The way I'm still awake. So all right. Well, listen, man. God bless you, brothers. I'll talk to you
Chris
guys
is in
next
the
time.
future.
All right, God bless, brother.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Later.
Yeah,
Well,
God
he
bless
said
you.
he's on his way. He's just refilling his drink.
Yeah.
Once he's up here, I'll go on mute. I won't say nothing. I
Yeah,
want to
same.
hear this.
Yeah,
Well, he might be interested in having more conversation. Just see how it goes.
Intercession of the atoms.
Yes.
yeah. Like, wouldn't that conclude the atheism that atoms are the first mover?
Because I'm
Well,
also thinking about those people that go to the court and get married. Is that based under Christianity? You know, the ones where you go on court, you have no church ceremony, you just go and sign the papers, but they have some form of ceremony that they have in a room. I've seen it done before. I
but
want to
it's
know
not.
if
It's called the civil ceremony. It is just a confirmation that these two have agreed to be married.
Sort of like
I
when you go to
agree,
Las
but
Vegas. Sort of like
is
when you
there
go
a
to Las
God
Vegas.
though? Do
No,
they do it under God? No.
no, it's not done
Would you
under
call
God.
that an
It's
atheist?
done under law.
Mm.
It's not
Would you call that an
necessarily
atheist?
because agnostics will do it as well. It's just a you're not part of a specific religion.
Well, does
Here you have to do it in both places. Like you have a religious wedding and also you have a governmental wedding. Because
Yeah,
they
it
don't
makes
take
sense.
the
or,
religious wedding as official.
or is it one of those like Las Vegas? So I've seen those movies where they just go and bitch, and they go to those all Las Vegas weddings, and
Yeah,
they
that's
just
why I
there's
asked.
like a
Yeah.
Elvis Presley's pastor there is like, here, well,
In,
now pronounce it husband and wife. Here,
in Australia, you
Hug
have to
mama.
sign a letter of intent a month before the wedding, at least.
well,
So
there he
you
is.
can't do that. Hey, Carnivorous, so welcome.
Carnivorous. Uh, yeah, you guys had some questions. I figured I'd come in and answer it for you.
Yeah, do you have a doctrinal statement or anything that you teach from?
No, I have a government. Uh, uh, it's a government document that officially and legally ordains me as a minister, and under the title of the religion is just marked atheist.
Okay. But you said you were a minister. Like, what do you do as far as ministry? Just weddings, or do you have more to your ministry than that?
I don't really see a need to do to see. I don't really see the need to do funeral ceremonies, but I've been asked to speak at a couple of them. I technically prefer memorial services celebrating the life of the person, uh, but really all it boils down to is you get your ordainment, you register with your county, and you can perform weddings.
Yep.
So
So in Australia, we call them civil celibates, not ministers. But the same thing is open that people who are non-religious can still do ceremonies like that.
unfortunately, the language in the States is kind of polysemous. We have a president right now that apparently thinks our asylum program means we're pulling people from the insane asylums of other countries. So,
Yes.
like,
Well,
so the term minister and officiant that are similar enough, but on my certificate it does say minister. So,
yeah, fair enough. And do you get your understanding or your beliefs from a set of teachings, or do you is it just every man for themselves in atheistic in the atheistic circles that you come from?
Not really. I grew up in a very lazy Christian family where it was literally, Easter and Christmas. That was the only time I ever set foot in a church. And when I decided to actually join a church when we moved out here to Oklahoma, which is, if you guys don't know, is the Bible Belt. So I ended up going to a Southern Baptist church, and they were trying to convince me that the world was 6,000 years old and that dinosaurs and men were walking around on the earth together. And I was like, I'm sorry, but my 12-year-old brain is remembering my science class that I took the other day, and it doesn't work that way. So I started actually studying the contradictions and stuff like that. I was originally entirely against young Earth creation because unfortunately there is a very large swath of the American population that apparently thinks that the Earth is only 6,000 years old. Some of them even think that it's flat, and it's very annoying when something that specifically, that
Provably false.
Do what?
Provably false.
Yeah, something that is just like that, not in concordance with reality. It was aggravating to me. So, I mean, I did have my angry atheist phase a long time ago but by the time I hit my 20s, I just stopped caring. And then I ended up having a couple of friends who were members of the LGBT community, and they wanted to have a ceremony for their wedding. And we started looking around, and apparently because we live in such a red area, there was not a single pastor in the state that would actually voluntarily do a ceremony for them. So I just said, screw it. I got online. I bought an ordainment for like $30 and registered with the county, and it said I'll do it myself. So I've done 3 lesbian weddings just because I could. And yeah, I don't really have a congregation or anything like that, but it's a fun irony.
Yes.
So.
Well, that's what I thought when you first said you were an atheist minister. I was just going, that seems to be a contradiction in terms. That's why I was interested to have more conversation about it.
Yep. So, sorry, I'm seeing somebody. What is it? Mike Capps, the dilemma of a monkey giving birth to a human. That's not how evolution works. Nobody that is an evolutionary biologist has ever said anything like that. So if that's what you took from evolution, you just don't understand it.
But cross-species evolution is an issue, like a gap that we don't really have.
No, actually, they solved that. It's nested hierarchies. Essentially, it's not going out and turning into another species. It's looking back, and you're essentially looking for, if you're familiar with the concept of a Russian nesting doll, where big doll, smaller doll on the inside.
Mac, did you say matryoshka?
Matryoshka, yeah.
Matryoshka.
Matryoshka. Spasibo.
Now that
Я не знаю.
But yeah, essentially it's if you take a Russian nesting doll, but instead of a singular doll on the inside of it, it's a few other dolls. They're related, or they get more similar to each other as the further you go back. But
where did the doll come from?
Do what?
Where did the doll come from?
That's not something that evolution is going to tell you, because evolution only takes place within living creatures.
What created living?
That would be whatever the theory is behind abiogenesis.
What created biogenesis?
You crackled a little bit. I didn't hear you.
I'm just literally saying why to everything, because it can go on eternally.
Yes, but we
Yeah,
have
infinite
specific
regress.
specific fields of science that are looking at each one. So,
Right.
like, if you're going to ask me about evolution, then there is a stopping point because evolution doesn't go that far.
Yeah, but there is
And-
like good.
The
Go on,
stopping
sorry.
points seem to be big gaps, missing bits. Like we don't have going from chemicals to life. We don't have species transfer. We have the in between bits, and then we have trust me, bro, for the gaps.
No, okay. So the thing is there are several fields of science that actually connect in that. It does require a bit of lateral thinking, but when you're using, like, say, species genetics, I mean, I've got 5 people here. I'm assuming everyone here is a guy. Do you take the?
How dare you assume my gender?
Yeah, I'm a two-spirited transvestite penguin.
Okay.
I do.
I'm sorry. What are your pronouns? Flap, flap.
Flat,
black and white.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flat, smile and wave.
I was gonna say, like, I've seen like the skulls that they've claimed that were monkey and part human, and they have been found to be false. They are parts of each, and they put them together and say, "Look, here's evolution."
Okay, so the whole LGBT thing, I don't have an issue with it. Sorry, somebody in the comment section here. I am barely a member of it. On that very far A that often gets left out. The only issue that I have is I have kids that are gay. I'm not going to turn around and kick them out of my house just because they're gay. So
They're people.
yes,
We should love all people. The Bible is quite clear on that.
Yeah, we should love all people.
well, I mean, the Bible's clear on it, but how many people have actually read the Bible?
Read the
Uh,
Bible.
Here,
A
Sheriff.
lot of people.
Here, Sheriff.
Yeah,
Because
here.
I mean, I've read the Bible, and then I had people sitting there trying to quote stuff out of it, and it's like, dude, that's the Code of Hammurabi. Why are you trying to quote that?
Yeah, I'm not sure why you would be quoting that. But yeah, we're definitely told to love one another. But going back to the evolution thing,
Yes,
for a moment, like we see evolution within bacteria, we see evolution within viruses, we see that sort of thing. The closest we come to species is Down syndrome. We see a chromosomal change, but
no, we
they're
actually
still
do
human.
So we actually do see species jump in that case in plants a lot more often. The concept of polyploidy, polyploidy is a thing where they can, over the course of a single generation, they can double their genes and can no longer breed with the parent plant.
Right, but they don't change species as such. They still, like, they can't breed with the current plant, but they don't completely change species.
Okay, well, the scientific definition of species, though, is just if they can breed or not. So, like, the reason why we have a different species name for wolves versus the species name for coyotes is because they can't interbreed.
Yep.
Lions, tigers,
we both
tigers
feel
can interbreed. Lions and tigers can interbreed. Horses and mules can interbreed.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on.
Ligers.
I understand that ligers and tigans and mules are a thing. The thing is horses and donkeys interbreeding to make a mule does not bring forth a fertile mule. It's a dead end species.
Ligers are fertile.
Ligers are fertile towards either or because it's a recessive gene. Actually the comparison between lions and tigers is actually a very good comparison between humans and Neanderthals, because humans do genetically have Neanderthal DNA in them. And it was actually shown that the Neanderthal Y chromosome specifically has died out completely, because when you tried to breed a male Neanderthal with when you tried to breed a Neanderthal with a human, the male offspring was always sterile, whereas a female offspring could still breed with other humans.
All right, just one question then. If evolution were true, then wouldn't the Earth be filled with millions of transitional fossils that shows these species gradually changing into from another, an ancestral connection between one evolution to the eldest evolution, and knowing that these all came from this? Is there a continuous fossil that obviously you can see the changing over time?
There's not a delineated ladder like people think that it needs to have, but when you can turn around and compare two species, test them genetically, see how far back the similarity is, and then go to a specific spot on the planet and dig into down to a specific strata and find a species that is halfway between the two, it proves the hypothesis.
But they can't. That's the point. They've
they
tried doing that. They've found some things that they then say, "Oh, that is."
No,
but
they literally
are dumbfounded by a simple thing like a platypus.
Okay. Yeah, they find something in the time of dinosaurs, but what about after them and after the evolution all the way to now? So what's the most recent fossil before humanity?
One of the easiest fossils to show to demonstrate this is literally the transition of whales from land animals going back into the ocean. Okay, we literally tested the genetics of whales and their closest land animal, whatever that I forget what that is. But basically, they hypothesized that if they went to Pakistan and dug down into a certain strata, they would start finding fossils of animals that had less and less developed back legs, until they found one that had fully developed back legs and was a land mammal. And when they did that, they went to Pakistan, started digging, and found them.
Can you reference a source for where that was?
Yeah,
I can tell you, Chris. I can tell you.
Yep.
He's not wrong. A lot of that work comes out of the University of Michigan. I know the guys who did that work, and it's pretty good work. But I want to ask you a question, Mr. Ape. You say that in order for a species to advance, it must reproduce.
Yes, that's kind of how evolution works.
Okay, so can we go back and talk about Skittles for a second? I'd like to do that.
Can we talk about? I'm sorry, did you say Skittles?
The LGBTQ.
Okay,
that's a good one.
This is one of the issues. Is it makes producing offspring difficult.
I'm speaking clinically and scientifically. I am not speaking with detraction or hatred. All I'm saying is scientifically.
No, I've just never heard the term Skittles before. Sorry, that
scientifically speaking,
it's a YouTube, TikTok.
I feel like Skittles
adaptation so that people don't get the channel.
Yeah, we say the rainbow instead of the family unfriendly LGBTQIA 2S plus abracadabra.
Yeah, it ends
I'll just say the alphabet people, because I'm claiming the rainbow back. It's ours.
Yeah, the rainbow's ours.
We are claiming
it's ours. I'm not allowed to have it. You're not allowed to have it. It's ours. It belongs to us. They call the alphabet people.
My flag is green and gray.
My clinical question is simply this: if reproduction is required to advance the species, and yet lesbians and homosexuals don't reproduce, doesn't that make them an evolutionary dead end?
No, actually, because that would be a social thing, which is unlike people like to deny. It is actually found in nature. We have several thousand species on the planet that participate in gay relationships.
But they don't.
But
But
it's a
those
dead end
relationships
for
don't
them
produce
too.
offspring. Those relationships do not produce offspring.
No, but they do foster children that were essentially gotten rid of by the parent.
So you're saying evolution. So you're saying evolution is a social construct and not a genetic, scientific, biological construct.
No.
Okay.
It does have genetic things. There are genetic markers on if you were gay or not, but it does have a social function in the fact that you can see it very well in penguins, where if a father penguin has an egg that on the very rare occasion they have twins, the father penguin will try to ostracize the smaller of the two, and then at the same time you have gay penguin couples that they actually like completely psychologically trick themselves into the where one of them will take a rock and like psych itself up that it's an egg on the event that one of these penguin chicks is ostracized from the parent group, and they will adopt it.
Right.
So
But
only
the
monogamous
norm is annihilation, right?
Well, and yet that rock never hatches into a penguin chick.
No, but the purpose of that is the simple fact that second chick survives because it now has parents.
Yes, but
and yet,
the
if
parent
homosexuality is a genetic trait and not a social construct,
yeah,
right? And if then homosexuals do not reproduce with their sexual activity,
oh, I understand.
Then how is the trait passed from generation to generation?
So the
Can a
thing
doctor say? Can a doctor say, "Congratulations, you have a gay baby"?
No,
that's not something a doctor would say, but that
there
would
is,
be
there is no,
now.
there is
that
no
would be
genetic.
something
There is no genetic marker that has been identified. There is no
there is a
physical markers that have been identified.
There is a neurophysical marker that has been identified now. It is a specific density of a specific lobe of the brain. It's not my particular field, but I am aware of it. The thing is it is true that there, whether it be environmental or genetic, there is a physical trait that's associated with it. It's the same thing that's associated with trans people. The thing is,
can be learned.
Well, I agree with you on that, considering the ancient Greeks were mostly gay. But the thing
Not
is,
mostly. Again, these species devolves into disappearing if they're mostly.
Mostly? Where does the word mostly come from? Mostly simply can't be proven from anything.
If everyone were gay, then there goes humanity.
There was homosexual practice.
Yes, you can say they prefer homosexual practice. Yeah,
but again, if they're mostly gay, the species stops in that area because people die a lot, and if you're not having enough kids, your species either or your area culture disappears or is wiped out by another group that does have lots of children.
The simple argument is this. If homosexual, and Chris, if I'm using bad language.
No, you go for it.
I'm being clinical, right? Because the guy said he wants to be a scientist, and as an actual scientist, I think I can say things like this. Yes. If homosexuality is an evolutionary advancement, and we continue to advance in that direction, then at the time when the entire species is homosexual, the species ceases to exist.
So are you aware what a slippery slope fallacy is?
As a mathematician, I'm pretty sure I understand all the logical fallacies.
Okay.
And I'd just like to make one point.
Go ahead.
Before you go on. Like, I have a child who calls themselves they, them.
Okay, so they're
I love
non-binary.
them to death. I am not against homosexuals or anything in anything that I say. I just want that to be entirely clear. I love them to death. I don't believe it's what God taught us is the best relationship, but I love these people just like I love everyone else. We can continue.
Okay, so sorry. Repeat what random Catholic. Repeat what you had just said because I lost my train of thought.
Sorry. He was talking about knowing the slippery slope fallacy.
Okay, thank you. So the reason why that's a slippery slope is because you are assuming that if everyone or if we suddenly accepted gay people into our population, that everybody is going to be turning gay, and that's not how it works. If even while radically socially accepted, being gay only affects maybe 20% of the population. Okay, because once again, you don't choose whether you're gay.
Can I ask a question first? Can I ask a question before we continue? You understand the difference between informal and formal logical fallacy, right?
Yes.
So what you are claiming as the slippery slope fallacy is one of those informal fallacies, and all that means is that it's not always false. So you making a claim that I have somehow professed a logical fallacy and calling it the slippery slope fallacy doesn't make what you're saying true. So you realize that, right? Like that's how logic works.
So you're going to call out me saying that it's a fallacy, even though I'm fully explaining why it's a fallacy.
Well, but it's not, because the argument, what I posited had nothing to do with sociology. It had everything to do with biological evolution.
No, what you were positing is a very convoluted way of saying the gays are going to take over.
That's not what I said. I said nothing like that.
No, but
then why did you even go up to a 100% population of being gay? Because that's exactly what that.
He posed that if
everybody. All I said was this.
It was an example.
At the time in evolution, when the entire human population becomes gay, I didn't say it was going to happen. I was positing a hypothetical. However insane you think that hypothetical might be, doesn't make the hypothetical any less valid. Now, at the time,
I agree with you.
When the entire population becomes gay, in that generation, the species ends. That's a true statement.
So I agree with you. That hypothetical.
But it wasn't a sociological argument. You're now making a sociological argument against my simply stated scientific fact.
Do you have?
There's no hatred involved in it.
You just need all from one
the
gender,
ideology,
or at least one person not being gay in all the population. That would actually happen. You don't need it entirely, by the way.
There is an issue that because sexuality is learned, that if things are encouraged in a population, it will prosper. And homosexuality results in less children as a default. Which when people argue over populated worlds, doesn't mean the same as to an earlier species. But when you're talking about evolution, it's more important.
Without any hatred in my heart, and with all charitability, okay, and with all love for all humankind, you were making an argument from science, and all I did was extend your scientific argument to its logical conclusion, and I said nothing about sociology because sociology isn't a science.
That's right.
It's not. And the fact that it don't happen like that, and what's with the enforcement upon society? Like, if you're not old enough to go gambling, if you're not old enough to smoke, if you're not old enough to drink, yet you're old enough to chop it, if you know what I mean. How does that even make sense?
I'm sorry, are we now arguing for minor surgeries?
Well, it's all part of it, is it not?
No, it's not. That is literally a right-wing fear-mongering talking.
But you're
point.
saying it don't happen like that. You're saying it don't happen like that, but it does. You got these parents who are giving birth to children. They don't even know what, like, the kids don't know what's going on. They're just learning, and the first thing they taught is, okay, you're going to be gay. That's what the parents are doing to these.
No,
You see the doctors.
How do you know that a 1-year-old is gay? How would you know? How would a parent know?
But that's getting more.
I'm sorry, that's getting into propaganda.
Okay, I'll stop there.
Yeah, and now
surgeries that are not required or whatever. If we can come back to the biological discussion rather than whether that's right or not, because I think that's tough to argue.
And it's only a right wing in the States, by the way.
Well, yeah, but now you're bringing political theory into it. What I'm saying has nothing to do with right wing or left wing. What I'm presenting is a simple fact of science.
Okay, but
has nothing to do with politics. Has nothing to do with sociology.
Okay, the situations that you were bringing forth, though, are literally political propaganda talking points.
No, they aren't.
No. What we were leading into was political.
No,
I see that, and I don't have a problem so much with that. I think more I would just encourage us back to talking about the biology of it.
And whether a scientific fact gets misused by a political mechanism, right? Whether or not a scientific fact gets misused by politicians or their cronies to make arguments is irrelevant to the fact that those scientific facts are still facts.
Only when they're actually facts and not being misused.
Okay, what I just fact. I literally gave you a fact.
You didn't give me a fact. You gave me a hypothetical situation.
If homosexuals do not reproduce, ergo, when homosexuals reproduce to the point, don't reproduce to the point, and yet the genetic thing, whatever, gets to the point where everyone's homosexual, the species ends. That's what I said.
That's not how that works, though, because
that is how that works.
Constantly diversifying, and only straight people make gay people.
Yes,
and the number grows as you are doing, because if it's a social situation, that's what they're trying to imply.
As sexuality is also learned, it is not just a matter of people have straight or gay babies. It is a matter of if practices are encouraged. More of that practice is.
I just came up to ask about Alton's chill stream. It doesn't seem like it was all that chill. I didn't see any of it, but it doesn't sound like it was all that chill.
It worked its way into Pedro and Monk going crazy at each other.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. Yeah. Hey, yeah, Mac. Thanks for the compliments. I appreciate that. I'm gonna go because there's someone in the chat rage baiting me, and I don't feel like being rage baited right now.
But why don't you stay, man? Like, whatever. Yeah,
was that Zon ZDC?
Yeah.
Carnivorous Ape, what else do you have the authority to do as a minister?
That's it. Weddings, funerals. I mean, I could open up a 501c3 and start up an actual church if I wanted to, but I don't see the need to. I mean, I don't see the need to tell people the good news about nothing. So,
do you go to hospitals and try and make sick kids feel better?
No. Why would I?
I would like to know what's the reason atheists get married.
Because grown men of all stripes should go to hospitals and make sick kids feel better.
I don't go to the hospital to make a sick me feel better.
Well, that sounds odd considering medicine is a science.
I agree. I just have a fear of hospitals.
Oh, maybe if I
I have a fear of clowns.
I am fully aware that I have an irrational fear of hospitals. I'm also very hairy. I have a very rational fear of fire.
Yeah,
Why do
yeah.
atheists get
I was given the name carnivorous ape. I just expected you to be hirsute. I just did.
suit?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
word that means
take my
hair.
shirt off and I'm still wearing a sweater.
Not all
Yeah.
zoot, a zoot.
Oh, I was
Alsorts are different. They're big black men that with
Would you
large
find
members
Azut
that
in a
can go all
suit?
night.
I do love gorillas, by the way. And the zoo, they do look like people. If they're too close, you can assume they are.
Oh, and they have, like, animals have intelligence to agree.
A
And
gorilla,
all sorts of stuff.
Mac. A gorilla would pick you up and throw you into a wall.
But
If you did the wrong thing.
a lot of
Yeah.
people seem to do that, even in panelists do. So they're gorillas too. But they do look like people, and it's eerie to look them into the eyes, like 20 centimeters away. You know what the cage lets you do.
I always find it interesting that we do get biology from pigs more than from apes, even though the genetics, is actually closer to the pig than the ape, but the look is actually closer to the ape.
Well, I
than the
used to
pig.
be a butcher,
Well,
and pigs actually cry like babies when they're getting slaughtered.
Hmm.
They sound like human babies.
Well, when we get disease from pigs easier than we do from apes when species transfer.
that's more morphology than it is genetics.
But the thing is that, the claims are, well, we evolved from apes, where we seem to be more likely to have evolved from pigs than from apes.
No, we
The claim
Genetically.
is that we are apes.
we are
evolved.
apes.
That's a claim, not that we evolved from apes. They claim that we are apes still, because that's the genus of what would the human be.
That'd be the
According to-
family, but yeah.
Is that why Muslims don't eat pork? Because they know this, and it'll be cannibalism if they eat pig?
No, I
They
think
don't
that's
eat
why
pork
the
because they're clowns,
Israelites.
man. But
I
okay.
think during the Israelite time in the desert, they didn't have the ability to cook meat properly, so God told them that they should not eat some of these animals that you have to really cook well.
That's the
I
reason
just
then
thought
when
Allah wanted all the ham.
Well, but again,
Yeah.
if I could, I'd like to go back to evolution and your claim about the fossil record, because when you brought up whales, right?
Yeah.
The work was done at the University of Michigan a while back, right? And they went back to the Eocene and brought forward, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 transitional species that show a transition from a 4-legged lizard-like animal to whales, right?
I don't know
And
where
they-
you're getting the lizard from, because it was definitely a mammal.
Pachycetidae was a mammal.
Yes. That front word there, that pachy, is how you get the word pachyderm for elephant.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, not bad. Yeah, I didn't say I said I'm a mathematician. I'm not saying I understand it. But again, they brought forward species going back to the Eocene. So say, I don't know, 50 million years ago, to put forth a transitional fossil record from one to another to another to another to another. And
All the way up to I think it's the Basilosaurus. But yeah.
Even then, they've gotten the physical descriptions of the dinosaurs wrong. Many times, scientists have changed the physical appearances of a Tyrannosaurus Rex or all these other.
Yes.
Well,
They're now arguing may have been.
even
I
the
don't know. I just
covered.
think God created whales, and that's the way they exist. I don't know. We
Oh
need
my
more
God.
explanation.
And the
than
fact that they know, and the fact that they think they came from land and now they're in the water and they're these big, huge things. They don't even know what these things look like. They just put skin on a fossil and let's put some fur on it. Like, how do you even know it came from land? And
That's
now
how they
it's got
made
no
the
legs.
iguanodon. That's how they
Yeah.
make the iguanodon, and that's why it's wrong.
It just
Well-
says God created the sea animal. So
So the thing
what
is,
do we
though,
need
is
more
that-
than that?
the thing is though is those errors are actually them checking themselves. Okay, that's actually the reason why science
No,
is working.
those errors are errors.
Yes.
They're not checking.
They are
themselves.
errors.
No,
Constant
yes,
errors.
they
They
do.
keep correcting. They keep correcting themselves. They just keep changing, and then calling it correction.
Can I give you an
Right.
example?
But there's a difference between good science and bad science. Good science says this is our best guess at the moment. Bad science says this is what we know.
This is our best guess, basically. It's not a correction. This is what we our best guess.
Okay, science deals with models. Okay, this is the best possible model that we have to understand how the universe works. That's literally how it
Yeah,
works.
but I mean, the Bible is reliable, so we
No,
know
it's
what the Bible says.
Yeah, and
if
it's
the
a
Bible
model.
was reliable, I wouldn't be currently working on a paper that combines both the biblical flood, the Sumerian flood, and the Akkadian flood, all the way back to the Göbekli Tepe at the end of the Ice Age.
That's really good because that means we have all the same accounts. We all
Not
have
really
a flood
when you
account.
have.
Yeah,
Not really when
that's
you
why they
have
find
multiple things
fossils on
that
top
are-
of
Yeah.
mountains from the
It's
flood.
if you
Exactly.
find a fossil somewhere else that confirms your theory, that demonstrates your theory. That doesn't prove your theory wrong.
Yeah, it just sends
And-
more credibility to the Bible.
Chris, I'm just sharing my screen to show the paper I was referring to.
Yeah. You want to put that through again? It didn't come up.
Really?
I
Hold on.
I think
Oh, I see it now. Yep, I got it.
Yeah, so this is the paper I was talking about. So this is the most recent scholarship on cetacean evolution.
yeah, but is this a Christian though? Is this a Bible believing Christian? I don't know if that.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be a
Scientist.
Bible-believing Christian to be the.
This is science.
No, I know, but they're gonna come from an atheistic worldview.
Yeah,
Well,
except
what does that matter?
except Fine
most
Father
Christians-
Lemaitre gave us the Big Bang Theory. So I don't know. I'm good on
Oh no,
both.
you know what? It says the common man skeptical of evolution has my sympathy. This guy might be onto something.
I was about to say Charles Linnaeus is the one that gave us modern taxonomy. So I mean,
Yeah.
Wait, so I mean, we affirm like a 6,000-year-old Bible, so I feel like that is pretty clear that
no, it doesn't.
that human beings came. There's an Adam
No,
and Eve, and there's
You
6,000-year-old.
you have a list of ages and then a word in Genesis that could mean day or age that you took to mean the literal day.
Yeah, I mean, I just read the
I
Bible.
didn't take it to mean a literal day.
No, the people that translated it into English took it to mean a literal day.
Right.
No,
right.
If you
not
talk to a
every, not
Jewish
every
person-
Christian
But I mean-
believes that.
If
by
you
the
talk
way,
to a Jewish
just so you
person,
know.
they will explain the day age, difference in the meaning of the word yom, and explain to you.
Yes,
that
so
the Bible,
will we.
the Bible
Yeah,
does
but-
not actually say anything about the age of the earth.
Yeah, but the most Christians today hold to a young Earth, 6 to 10,000 years old, and it's pretty demonstrable.
I am aware of that. The problem is if you want to prove Christianity, Jesus was a rabbi, so you have to prove Judaism first.
Yeah, and that's true. Exactly. Jesus resurrected, so I mean, we can prove Christianity.
You want to say that one more time?
Yeah, I said Jesus resurrected, so we can demonstrate Christianity.
Do we have proof of that?
We have attestations from people like Josephus and Tacitus who say that these crazy Christians are claiming to have seen him alive even after we killed him, or even after he was crucified.
Okay, so
Which
so you
suggests
have
that the eyewitness accounts saying that they did see him alive are actually true.
okay, so
Yeah.
you have a book that says there are eyewitness accounts, but no actual
no,
record of
multiple
the
Well,
books.
it's better than not having a book that
We
says I have
we-
no eyewitness accounts.
We
Would
have
you die for a
multiple
lie?
books. It's not one book. The Bible is multiple books put together. It's so we have multiple attestations, and these guys are confirming that this is what other Christians were saying, even though they're laughing at them and saying this is stupid.
Yeah, we have 27 books. I mean, would you prefer that we don't have any books?
No, I prefer extra biblical sources.
No,
And
there's
the
a
only ones that I do-
27. There's a
They
27
gave
books.
you.
No,
They gave you.
Yeah,
extra,
you
extra
gave me
biblical-
even
biblical
outside the Bible.
No.
Even
Oh, yeah, but
That's
the
why-
Bible
that's
is
why
a
I said
compilation
Tacitus.
No,
of books.
He gave you a lot of outside the Bible. That was how he started.
Yeah,
And you,
we're
I
talking
am-
These
about
people
Nothing
hated-
to do with the Bible.
we're talking
I
about
am
the
Maybe
referring-
fish.
Tacitus, for instance, you think that he's an apostle or something?
No, I don't think he's an apostle. I just think the Bible. We have 20.
Tacitus, Josephus, Pliny the Younger. These are things written
Yes.
by people in opposition.
No, but why do we need to go
Christianity
outside the
to attest
Bible?
to the resurrection.
Why do we need
Okay.
to go outside the
Okay,
Bible?
I'm going to go now. Bye.
No, wait,
God bless
random. I'm
random.
literally
You're
asking.
in the Bible, you complain about it. You go outside the Bible, you complain about it. Where do you go then?
Okay,
Yep.
you're talking over the top of me every time I start talking, so you have no idea what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry.
Okay, now I was not talking about Tacitus and Josephus and Pliny the Younger being not in the Bible. I was talking about them being the extra biblical sources. The problem is that those three sources specifically is the only things that we can find on them is a casual mention to a random Jewish rabbi that started a cult.
That also, I think, mentions his healing and the fact that
No,
he was healing people.
It doesn't actually mention
And-
his healing. It mentions claims of his healing because
Yeah,
they
so
weren't
it
there
mentions
either to be eyewitness accounts.
So it mentions
Anything
his
that is
healing.
a fact is a claim.
Yeah, we can
Just so
prove
you
that.
put,
Go ahead. Sorry.
What is evidence other than claims, particularly historically?
Yeah, I mean, this is historical evidence. This is just as good as your fossils.
Like, we have writings, we have pictures, we have drawings. What else would we consider historical evidence?
Can you claim positively resurrection is impossible?
We have neither seen it before or since, with the exception of mythology.
That's not true. It's medically documented. There are people who have been declared dead who have been taken down to the morgue and then woken up. One
3 days
example
later?
was when they tried to remove the ring from someone's finger. They died again later,
Yeah.
but these medical anomalies are well known.
And we also have prophecy that shows Jesus, the proofs that he was.
Prophecy doesn't work. They had access to the Old Testament before writing the New Testament.
Yeah, but when
They
a person
did, they
is
didn't.
when a
Sorry,
person
you
is
guys-
resurrecting, and that's a prophetic word, that's kind of hard to say. Well, they had the Old Testament, so they made that up.
They didn't have the New Testament when they wrote the Old Testament, which is where half of that doesn't work, because some of those prophecies that were written centuries before talked about resurrection.
Okay, so the prophecies in the Old Testament stated that there was going to be a resurrection, and you don't
Yep.
think that the people writing the New Testament could have looked back at the Old Testament saying, "Oh, look, there's supposed to be a resurrection here. Let's go ahead and add it in."
Well,
that assumes that the New Testament writers were all in this one big conspiracy and were desperate to go to the lions to protect their lie.
Well, considering
Yeah.
Matthew, Mark, and Luke, or the Synoptic Gospels, are almost word for word plagiarizations of each other, with the exception
They are
of where they wildly
nothing-
different.
They're not word for word. People make this
It's
statement
like
all the
88%
time.
word for word.
To make that statement, you haven't read them.
Every reporting event
They are similar.
is gonna be like that.
Well, wouldn't you want them to be similar? Do you want them to be? See, if it was radically different, you would say it's radically different. If they're similar, you're saying they're
Okay.
too similar.
Hold on, just let me clarify something real quick. M Burgundy in the chat. If you want to crash out, I understand. When you wrap any belief around your personality so tightly that any critique of it makes it feel like a personal attack, I understand. Okay, I am just critiquing. The only issue that I have is the fact that I don't have the faith to believe it.
No, but the you don't even know why he wants to crash out. Does it have to be because of you? You are not the only thing in the world that actually provokes stuff to anyone in the world.
Yeah, I mean, Shake has a profile picture that's it makes me want to crash out sometimes.
And Burgundy doesn't like me sometimes, and he wants to crash out because of me. Maybe he means me. Why do you take away this enormous, beautiful thing he's doing for me?
Yeah, I could crash out about anything. I could crash out about the color of the StreamYard logo. You don't know.
Yeah, but when we
Why is
think
it
about
duck?
when we think about the evidence, like which makes more sense, that a bunch of different guys decided to come together and make up a story that they wanted to die for in horrible, painful ways, or that they wrote what they believed they saw because it was important to them.
Yeah, listen, Abe, you want them to be similar because
No,
if they're too
I can-
different, they would be different stories.
I
There'll
can
be myths.
literally pull parallels to Jesus to cult leaders.
No. I'm saying you want them to be similar because, listen, if you go to somewhere in Australia and you're in America, you find a fossil that confirms your theory. You're like, oh, is this a problem or is it a good thing?
Okay, the problem is though is finding a random fossil and then trying to put it somewhere in the record is not how science works.
No, I'm saying it's a good thing when you find.
It's exactly how science works.
No, you inspect the record, you make a prediction, and then you go to the area and dig up the fossil. The fossil
That's not true. Who wrote about the species? Darwin? Remember Darwin?
Okay,
what was it about species? Or
Darwin?
I can't remember the exact name.
That was 150 years ago. Darwin wouldn't believe evolution these days because of how much different evolutionary biology is to what he coined as evolution.
I agree.
Darwin didn't know anything about
But my point is, what you just said is not science. Is precisely what he did, and it was science. It still is science. They see things. They make theories on what they see. Then they try and test the theories to see if their extrapolation of what they've seen to the theory then works and is repeatable.
Okay, so the question on that though is do they try to prove themselves right or wrong?
Right.
No.
I mean, we wouldn't know if they're trying to prove themselves right or wrong. It's just a theory.
The way observational science works is you have an observation, you make a hypothesis, and then you attempt to prove the hypothesis wrong before you come up with a conclusion.
Well, they generally try and prove themselves right, not wrong. But
if I make
that's the reason why we have peer review.
Well, you know what?
It's literally, this is the experiment I ran. This is how you can also run it. Prove me wrong.
What tomorrow the sun's gonna rise up. Is that a theory that I could just run?
No, that's a testicle. That is a testable prediction based off of previous observation.
Okay, well, tomorrow that's testable. You know what? 2 days from now the sun's gonna rise back up.
I have a
Sorry, just my childishness for a moment.
Also, geography as well, with archaeologists, where they excavated actual locations from in the Bible, like the lost city of Nineveh was uncovered as well in the modern day Iraq.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
The empire of I can't pronounce it, Hittites.
Herodotus.
It's Hittites.
Oh.
Hittites.
High titties.
So
that's in modern day Turkey.
I call them his.
They excavated this in the 19th and 20th century.
How would you convince me that I am related to a banana? Like, what would you say to convince me? Like, how I convince you the sun's going to rise up?
I would probably use something completely different than any of the thousands of attempts that have attempted on Kent Hovind, because he's literally just a bad faith actor. So I would probably go with the fact that you are comparing two organisms that are so far apart related that the only thing that would work is literally the genetics that says that you are, I think it's like 13% related to a banana.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, but that's just an assumption. I mean, I could just say I'm not related to a banana, and there's no
Okay. Well,
way to
the thing
disprove
is,
I
that or
would like
prove
to
that.
suggest that since we're made out of atoms, we are much more likely to be linked to the sun than a banana.
Yeah, I would agree. You know,
Okay.
we're made up of carbon and
We're made out of
hydrogen.
sun dust.
Yeah, we're made out of stars.
Yeah,
I'm related to the star,
supposed to
right?
be stardust, but yeah.
You believe I'm related to a star and the moon and bananas and flowers.
I don't believe stars and moons have genes, so no.
No, but in some way you could show the similarity between my atom and their atoms. So
No,
there's
'cause
molecules.
you're talking about plasma and minerals, which are crystalline in structure, which you don't have in your molecules.
Are you saying that there's nowhere else there's carbon and nitrogen and oxygen and all that?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of planets
Okay,
and
so I
even
came from
exoplanets.
the galaxy.
Okay.
Isn't that what you're saying?
No. That's what you think I'm saying, or that's what you're interpreting I'm saying.
What are you saying?
I am saying it really depends on what your definition of related is, because genetics is the literal science that we have that tells us where how far away they are related to us, which can put us having elephants and pine trees being related, which is one of Kent Hovind's fucking favorite things. I apologize for cussing.
Oh, be careful. Yeah.
But in that instance, there, like, it is a lot easier to show you your relation to, say, a dog, just for the simple fact that we
No, but
actually
like,
know where dogs meet on the mammal tree, as opposed to apes going back into haplorhines and catarrhines and everything like that before they get back to the mammal tree, and that would show you where that particular common ancestor would be.
but these are all just assumptions. You know, it's a bunch of scientists making assumptions, right? Genetics and all that.
No, genetics isn't an assumption. It's
No,
literally
no, I'm.
data that we
But
can see.
me related to a banana, they can't demonstrate that
That
other than genetic markers.
once again, the genetic markers. Okay, if
Right.
you've ever heard of something called endogenous retroviruses, it's literally scars that viruses have left on our DNA. Okay,
Okay.
and when you
But-
compare the genetics of us and, say, chimpanzees, okay, we have 204 identical scars in the exact same places.
Yeah, but there's a similarity. That's like the flood stories, all in all the cultures. You know, they all exist across cultures. Therefore, we know there's a flood.
No, at
But
least
you know that.
not to the
in-
scale that they show. Okay,
But,
So
how
but
did
you
they
know
come up
that-
with the percentage?
You know that
Sorry.
the systems and the trees that you're referring to have been rewritten a bunch of times because they've realized from Darwin to now how many of these assumptions have been totally wrong, and they're still doing stuff about degradation of DNA and things like that that are suggesting that the human DNA may be earlier than the ape DNA. So
I've
you know,
never
these
heard
things
of
are still
human
just
DNA being earlier than
plucking. Sorry?
So I've never heard of human DNA being earlier than ape DNA.
Yeah, there's this thing called the DNA clock, which is looking at the degradation of and sorry, I'm in more pain and on more meds at the moment. The mutation of genetics over time through species, and that theory, which is a theory, argues that the DNA of humanity is actually older than the DNA of the current great apes that we have.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you're misunderstanding the article you're trying to quote from, because our DNA, like if you're looking at our DNA versus chimpanzee DNA, they're the same age.
Yeah, and you,
Prove it.
Chris, you know, they use evolution for things like eugenics and showing racial superiority, and now they're
Yes.
using obviously for transgenderism. All kinds of different stuff comes from this evolutionary thinking, you know. So
But
they don't really know where they're going with this.
but they've also used it in that way. But the problem is that pigs also have very similar DNA to humans, and in fact, we get heart transplant parts of hearts, like the valves from hearts. We get livers from pigs. We grow the cartilage of ears on pigs to be transplanted in because of the similarities in pig anatomy and human anatomy.
Yes, but the anatomy is similar because of morphology, not because of genetics.
Right, but they don't do it to great apes. They do it onto pigs.
Okay, and that's because while a skin
Because
graft from a chimp would work, you would have to shave the chimp first.
it's
Then
also
why not?
It's
Why not
also
shave
that they don't reject as easily from chimps as they, or sorry, from pigs as they would from chimps.
Yes, and the thing is one of the issues though is the pigs that you're referring to are domestic pigs. Okay, we wouldn't get the same reaction from a wild boar. Okay,
Where do you get that from?
That's the way that study worked. They used
Those domestic
pigs.
pigs are actually wild in the wild.
Well, those poor chimps never made it in the evolution. Just fell back and didn't become humans.
No, like you're saying that study and this study and the other study, and which study? Which study says that you can only use domestic pigs for growing medical devices or medical materials on?
Okay, you want me to pull it up for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Abe, while you're doing that, do you support? I think I heard about homosexuality, and then you also said about transgenderism. Is that all stuff you support?
I accept it as a fact. I have really no hostile feelings towards it, so it doesn't bother me.
Like if someone wants to transition their child, you're fine with that?
There's no moral problem with it. That's what he's saying.
That is what you were saying. I am saying.
No. You said that you don't have any problem. You don't have it. It's okay with you, right?
I do not have an issue with the idea of transgenderism. Okay. However, there is an issue that we have about bodily autonomy and consenting adults. Okay. If you are over the age of 18, go for it. Doesn't bother me one bit.
In that situation, like when someone wants to transition, what do you think their genetics says? Since you're so scientifically minded, what do the genetics say about what they are?
There is actually a marker in the brain that shows it.
No, that's not what I asked. Like if you just did a DNA analysis on them, what would the genetics of that person be?
Again, it's an environmental thing, not a genetic thing.
No, but I'm just asking, what do you think the genetics would be?
I
think he's arguing that there isn't a difference in the
I don't have the information to give you an answer to that. So like
you couldn't tell if they're a man or a woman?
Are you talking about what their biological sex would be?
Yeah, their gender, yeah.
No, that's not their gender. There is a weird disconnect between sex and gender. Okay.
I know.
Who made that up?
Okay. Science and society, because for
Which
some reason,
science? Geneticists made up a difference between a man and a woman?
No.
Then what?
I think that both sides are using the word gender in a wrong way.
Yeah.
They're taking advantage of it, because in reality, gender would be linguistical, and sex would be biological.
Gender is social. Sex is biological. Okay.
But does a doctor?
If you have an XY chromosome, you are male or female.
But like the XX and XY, is that not?
If you have an X or Y chromosome, that is male or female.
Man or woman, right? Man or woman.
Male or female.
What is a male versus a man and a female and a woman? They're both the same thing.
No, male and female are the actual scientific terms. Man and woman are social terms.
Okay, so if I say someone is a man,
then
I'm not
I would
saying they're
assume you.
male.
Then I would
They
assume
could
that
be
you were
female.
talking about a cisgendered man who is, yeah. But the thing is
Cis? You said
yes.
cis? Okay.
CIS.
Oh, CIS. Okay. I didn't understand. Sorry. Go ahead.
Not like a sisterhood, but
Yeah. I was like cis. I didn't. Okay. All right. Go
I'm
ahead.
just kidding, man.
No, but like if I say someone's a man, like if I say I'm a man, like, and then you dig up my body after I'm passed away, you could tell that I'm a man.
Yes, we could definitely by
Yeah, I mean,
bones, by DNA, by many, many ways of like actually having. There's markers that you have the sex of a male.
yeah,
If you want to call it that way.
yeah. I mean, this is a pretty widely established thing in all of human history, right? Like you could tell a man from a woman.
Even if you were missing sexual apparatus, you could tell that that person was going to have it or was designed first genetically to actually have it, but something went wrong maybe.
Wait, are you saying the Macintosh or who said that?
No, I said it. Macintosh said it. Me.
Okay.
No, what I'm saying is that you could actually know that it's a male or a female.
Yeah.
Even if they were missing half their body.
Right. You could tell a lot from just a single piece of like bones or whatever, right? It just seems like all this extra stuff is just made up. It's like what they feel on the inside. I mean, okay. I mean, you can't tell what I feel on the inside, but that doesn't matter. You could tell what I am genetically. Wasn't Ape saying that I'm related to a banana with genetics? And now I can't know if you're a man from genetics?
Okay, once again, you're trying to confuse science terms with social terms.
What do you mean by social terms? Scientists don't use the word man?
No, they use the term male.
So no scientist uses the word man. Okay, that's incredible.
It depends if they're using like an actual genetics paperwork. Then no, they're not going to use the term male or man. They're going to use the term male. Okay, and Chris, as soon as you get back, the link for that study that I told you about the pig hearts is right there.
Where did the geneticists say that there's something called a man that's not a male?
It doesn't say that, and they use very specific terms in science. Okay, if you want to confuse the term man and male, go right ahead, because that's the normative.
Confused. They're related, okay, according to you.
No, but what is a man that's not male? There's no such thing.
A trans man.
Yeah, that's just a made up thing. But I mean,
no,
I'm talking about
that's the social version of it.
Yeah, but that's just okay. You're saying okay. Besides feelings, what other science is there behind that?
There is no science behind the social use of a word.
Yeah, but I'm saying besides feelings, what separates a man and a male?
Science. That's literally it. You are going for a dictionary definition. The specific terms male and female apply to biological sex.
So if I say that I am a woman, you will accept that? That's what you're saying? Scientists will accept this term?
If you say that you're a woman and you present yourself as a woman, then we will accept you as a woman. However, everyone, including you, would still understand that you are in fact a male.
Can we prove scientifically that that person then is a woman?
Yeah.
That's what I just said.
How would you prove it?
I literally just said
it's only a man presenting as a woman.
When you are looking at scientific fossils, if you found a trans woman right now from ancient Greece, it is going to be dug up and said, okay, well, we don't know why this male was wearing a dress, but there it is.
No, but you're saying because of a thing. But what if they were not wearing a dress?
Yeah, like
how
what
could
if
you know?
It's a Scottish guy with a slightly long kilt?
It would be the fossil of a male.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but like usually a man and a male is synonymous, and a woman and a female is synonymous. You're saying that there's feelings involved.
No, there's not feelings involved. I'm trying to tell you that science tries to ignore some policy.
No,
science tries to ignore.
not science. That's what we're trying to say.
No, science ignores definitions with more than one word, or ignores words with more than one definition. Okay, that's the reason why
Okay,
science uses
what
male and
is the
female, because that is specifically tied to biological sex.
okay? So the word man is like a is like is like a normal common term for the word a grown male or something, right?
Well, it depends on how you use it, because the term man could also refer to all of mankind,
No,
and that
sure,
includes women.
of course, yeah.
No, now
but
you're
I'm saying,
using it for another thing.
No, that's because the terms man and woman have multiple definitions.
I'm on Wikipedia. A man is an adult male human. Before adulthood, a male child or adolescent is referred to as a boy. Okay, so what's the problem? Man is an adult male human. Am I missing something here? Scientists say this is not true.
Scientists don't go on Wikipedia.
Well,
Scientists also make Wikipedia. I know a lot of scientists that write articles that also do Wikipedia.
Scientists write Wikipedia.
yeah, they do.
That's why the references down the bottom have a bunch of people with.
Okay, but when you're
doctorates next to
citing
them.
a source, you don't cite Wikipedia, you cite the source.
Okay, but it's the first link that popped up when I typed in man. Okay, I'm sorry. But I mean,
Beautiful
like,
dog, by the way.
Thank you.
oh wow, beautiful. Like, if I
This is
tell
Ed.
you, I have a question. What do I have to do if I want to kind of, you said, present myself as a woman? Like, what is the marker there, other than my feelings?
Present yourself as a woman.
Yeah, you said you'll
Like-
accept me if I present myself as one.
Yes.
What does that mean? What do I need to do? What marker? How do you know? What is the line that I need to cross?
It's a social marker. It's different for everybody.
Like, what is that marker in our society today?
There's not a distinct marker for our society, because our society is so bipartisan these days.
No, okay,
so
but
we
like,
can make it up.
yeah.
Wearing a dress used to be a good clue. And
Can you
Right.
present yourself as another race?
it's fine.
Yeah.
Or as
There's
another
still people.
species?
No,
Can I be
You're wonderful.
two-spirited?
Could I be?
I identified myself as a two-spirit penguin in the beginning. Is that okay?
no, that was me being sarcastic.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Sure,
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Hey,
can
I'll be
hear you.
brief. I'm gonna hop off soon. Sorry,
Hey,
my dog's
Pop.
barking. I just wanted to apologize to you, Carnivorous Ape. I think I said some rude things to you in chat. I just wanted to say that wasn't very charitable of me. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm just saying. I said my piece when I talked to her, when I said what I did to Burgundy. I don't have the belief system, therefore it doesn't really it doesn't really affect me as much as it, because like even me defending evolution right now, it's not a personal attack to me. It's just the outlandish thought that people deny reality.
Right
No,
on.
But it's
Right.
your reality that they're denying, not our reality. We don't deny our reality. If you want to put it in a place that it's not absolute,
Yeah, I mean,
it's our
Okay.
objective reality, and it's your objective reality, right? Like, or something like that.
No, the thing
Or is it subjective? Everything.
Are we going to get into morality now?
no, because
No,
like Eminem got called like a black man by a lot of other black people, and they accepted him as such. Is he also black? But if he
No.
gets accepted by other black people,
He is.
Yeah,
he
he
is
has
a
a
white
black
man.
card.
He is a white man from Detroit who hung
wait,
out.
but
with
who are you to define him? What if science tomorrow changes the word black to mean anyone who identifies themselves as such?
Oh,
And
we got a
how
better example.
genetically-
That lady that painted her skin black. What's her? Remember her? That's a better example. How about her?
Yeah. What if he
The white
presented
woman
himself?
that went. She literally got her skin dyed black. I don't know how she did it, but
Okay. If you
Michael
want to go,
Jackson.
if you want to go that far, if you actually look around on YouTube, you'll find a guy named Nuka Zeus, and he is literally
Nuka?
he is a red-headed white dude that started taking melanin injections that he got down from Mexico because he wanted to be black.
Oh, nice. He's black then, right?
No,
According
he's
to
not.
this social cultural definition.
No, because for the same reason why furries aren't really recognized, aside from just having a weird kink, you can't change your the whole thing about changing your race and your species is entirely superfluous.
But a woman, I can go to the gynecologist if I just present myself. Okay, what is this? I don't even know what you're saying. Like, I could present myself with certain markers. I
Okay.
could be a woman.
So
I could get
let me
treatment
ask
like
you
a
question,
woman.
though. Let me ask you a question though. If you are a pre-op transgender woman, are
I
you
don't even know
going
what that
to
means. Does that mean a man who's a woman? Is that what that means?
if you are a transgender woman who has not
Yes,
had
you haven't been through the operation yet.
okay,
I'm sorry. I'm not used to the terms. A transgender woman is that a male? That's a woman.
yes,
A woman
You're
with a
making
male.
sex and
Okay.
gender a
Hold on.
state.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand. Okay, go ahead.
let me explain. So if you are a pre-op transgender woman, would you realize biologically that you need a urologist or a gynecologist?
I don't know. Based on what
Whatever
you're
you
saying,
have,
however, I'm
urologist.
presenting.
you were born with, because
I-
you cannot.
yeah.
Okay, never mind.
You
Sorry,
would
sorry,
need
go
a
ahead, man. Go ahead,
urologist
go ahead.
because you still have the male bits.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So like the
There's
weird
no such thing as a trans post, like pre-op.
Yeah.
It's
There's
just
no
a
such
person
thing.
that hasn't
The-
gone through a process. You're making the idea
thing
that
is-
sex is a state.
no, the
Yeah.
thing is
So
that
tomorrow I could be something else, but today
thing-
I'm this.
the thing is that a person that has already had their bottom surgery is still going to go to the same doctor. Okay. If you are
Okay.
a transgender woman that has already had bottom surgery, you are still going to go to
Okay.
a urologist
I
because
see.
a gynecologist isn't going to be prepared to deal with you.
I see. So like the doctors don't play along with this. No, that's
It's
good because that would be
it's not that
more
the doctors
concerning.
don't play along with it. It's literally that the doctors are specialized to a degree where there's still a biological difference. Okay.
Yeah, no, I get it. They're not like
this is literally a social thing. It has nothing
no.
to do with science or
It's
medical or anything
feelings,
like
and
that.
it's the person feeling that they are something else, and everyone else is kind of just affirming them in that belief. I get it.
And just to go back to that, like earlier you talked about the pigs and the wild pigs and the
Yes.
the domesticated pigs. That wasn't about domesticated pigs. That was stating that they needed to do genetic changes to the pigs to get them to not reject. So it was specific genetic markers that needed to be taken out, not just
Yes.
one.
And the thing is they had to be domesticated pigs because they had to be controlled, or they had to be raised in a controlled environment.
No, they had to be genetically. They had to be genetically modified pigs.
Hold on a second. That's simply not true. The whole point was to genetically engineer pigs that didn't have GAL-T enzymes, so that radical rejection wouldn't occur. The whole point was to genetically modify those pigs so that their skin could be used.
Yes.
Right. It had nothing to do with being raised in a controlled environment. It was actual genetic modification.
Do you know where those pigs were sourced?
What?
Doesn't matter where they were sourced.
Where were those pigs sourced?
A domestic pig that if I took a domestic pig that I was going to slaughter for meat and attempted to use that skin as a graft, it would be radically rejected. It's not domestic pigs. It's specific pigs that have been genetically engineered specifically to remove GAL-T genetic markers.
Okay. The thing is, though, did they run those experiments with wild pigs, or did they start with the ones in the slaughterhouses?
They started with the ones they could get their hands on, bro.
Okay.
That's right.
So
They're
the
cheaper.
experiments started with with domesticated pigs that were then genetically altered to make sure they wouldn't be denied.
Right, but it had nothing to do with whether they were domestic. There's no genetic difference between domestic and wild.
The point was to genetically engineer GAL-T knockout swine, right? That was the point. You can look it up. You can just look it up for yourself.
By the way, domestic pigs are just a condition, or they're a state of existence for the pigs. It just means that you're putting them in a controlled position. In this case, they're not necessarily just domesticated. They're actually changed and manipulated.
I'd like
You
to
can
point out
literally
though,
look it
that
up.
study that I literally gave you the link for,
Yeah.
was showing that they were tested on baboons first.
Right, but the
So
point, yes, it was tested on baboons first. Do you want me to bring up studies on how many times they tested stuff on rats before they put them to humans, or the times that they tested them on pigs before they put them to humans? There's a lower risk thing.
what was the original argument though, that required me to go look for the fact that we use domesticated pigs?
You were saying that domestic pigs and wild pigs are different genetically.
They are, yes.
And that is
But-
saying that that's
Hold on a
saying
second,
nothing
Chris.
about that. That's saying that the genetic pigs, or the ones that were changed genetically to do transplants, had to be changed genetically. That's a different argument.
And before we started using pig to human xenotransplants, right? They would fail because of GALT carbohydrate epitopes, right? And because we have a huge population of domesticated pigs to work with, we don't have a huge population of domesticated baboons to work with. In fact, we have 0 domesticated baboons. It was easier to use pigs. Sure, I get that. But the point is not that the pigs were domesticated. The point is it was easy access to foreign tissue, which could be genetically modified to use as transplants that would not be immediately rejected. The immediate immune attack that previously made all foreign tissue transplants impossible was resolved in domestic pigs. That has nothing to do with domestic pigs. Like, the science is there for you to read, man.
Okay, I think the underlying argument though was why do we use pigs for grafts instead of
Yeah, we
pigs?
use pigs for grafts because they are readily accessible foreign tissue donors that have been genetically
that
modified.
we can modify to be acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't we modify ape DNA to be accessible?
Because we don't have access to apes.
We do have access to ape.
So literally random is what you're
with
answering.
We
pigs.
don't have a breeding program for apes, Chris. We don't. We have a whole farming system for pigs.
Yes.
Right? There are millions upon tens upon hundreds of millions of pigs in the world. There aren't that many baboons in captivity. They're right?
No, but we do have like chimpanzee populations and things like that that are domesticated. They
Okay.
but
all right.
It's not the same thing. Like there is the economics that is the primary thing.
Yes, we must breed pigs.
The availability of pigs is vastly better. But my point was that the similarity in genes from pigs is close enough that we can do that. But we don't look anything like pigs, and we're not on the pig chain.
We're missing the point.
Which is why
the idea is that DNA similarities is what is here on play, right? Not so much the idea that it's a pig or it's a baboon. It's the idea that the similarities that are genetic is what makes this possible.
Yes, it's the genetic similarities is what makes it possible. Okay,
right. So we're genetically more similar.
Modify the pig to pull out the difference, and then,
why not do it into something more similar then?
Again, because pigs are a hell of a lot more bioavailable than any other animal that would be more closely related.
But we could also modify something that is more violent, and we can just make them. And we can make a farm of monkeys that are pretty much the same as us. No,
No, we can't.
It's more
No, we
expensive.
can't.
no. But if we could, we would.
If we could, we would.
They have done.
Can't
There
prove
are countries that have islands that are breeding grounds for chimpanzees, as an example.
And the concern isn't so much genetic as it is morphological, right? The whole point is to get tissue that can vascularize in a way that actually can replace human tissue.
Yeah.
So it's not genetic, it's morphological.
Does this on the screen refute what
Yeah, it's the
No, I'm just saying that a whole bunch of work has been done between the DSM-4 and the DSM-5 with respect to diagnosis of gender dysphoria, and you just go read it for yourself.
Have you seen that vid?
I'm sick of talking about this stuff. I really am.
Have you seen
Is
that
this from the
video going
DSM-4 or
around
5?
and asking
This is
therapists?
between DSM-4 and 5.
There's a video going around asking psychologists how many people have you cured, and they all laugh and saying none of the people that I've worked with for years have been cured. It's like, I mean, I don't know, psychology and all this stuff. It doesn't seem to work. What is this?
Because psychology doesn't look for cures.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to have healed people from
No, it's not that
anything.
kind,
for the
it's not
most
that
part.
kind of a medical practice. Psychology looks for sources and and foundations.
Medicine doesn't look for cures either, by the way.
Yeah, this is
No,
affirmation.
like
modern medicine.
psychiatry does that. Psychology is not a medical science. Psychiatry is a medical science.
This is
No, but I'm saying
Psychology,
the medical science doesn't
psychology is not a
cures.
medical science.
It makes
Psychiatry
treatments.
is a medical science.
well, it all
Stop
goes
saying
against the Bible.
nonsensical things.
It all goes against the Bible, you know. I mean, what is this? This is
That's
just
it.
people affirming their own feelings. This is what this is.
Well, it's people
I mean,
trying to
what's the-
understand stuff in different
Yeah,
ways.
it's good, but you know, when you pay hundreds of dollars for therapy, and everyone's on therapy these days, and you know, all the kids are on therapy, and nothing's getting better. You know, Gen Z is like the therapy generation. You know what I mean? And they pretend to be getting better, but I don't see them getting better.
Is it Gen Z or Zonzi?
Gen Z, Gonzi.
But this guy's up here purporting to understand the science, and yet he claimed that psychology is a medical science, which it is not. Psychiatry is a medical science.
Yes.
Clinical
Psychiatry is
psychology.
about the medical.
Well-
Psychology is the theories of trying to understand the mind.
But
Okay.
if you're affirming a
First
woman,
of all, though, hold on. First of all, though, okay, you're sitting there saying that I'm claiming this and I'm claiming that, and half the time you guys are talking over me to where you don't understand it, or that you're not actually hearing everything that I'm saying. I never once
Oh, come on, let's not play
argued
big.
to actually be an authority on any subject, and on top of that, I've said specifically multiple times in this one little hangout that I get things wrong quite a bit. I have a speech impediment, and I do misspeak a lot.
I have a speech impediment as well. I misspeak a lot too, but I would never call psychology a medical science. That's just ridiculous.
Okay, but when you're talking about psychology and psychiatry, and you mean psychiatry when you see and when you've got something that says psychology on the page in front of you, do you think you might not mix up a word?
Where does this say psychology? Where here does it say psychology anywhere?
It says psychiatric.
Psychiatric.
It literally says psychiatric diagnoses.
Okay.
so do they have a cure for transgenderism? in
No,
psychiatry?
it's not something that needs a cure. It just needs to be understood.
It seems
Well, no,
like
but well, hold on. A claim was made. Where on the page does it say psychology?
It says psychiatric. The root of this.
It says psychiatric.
My entire brain operates in root words.
It says psycho,
You should
which is
stop
what
that.
random is.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Now Jill's here. All right. Now I really got to go. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.
No,
All right,
I mean,
God bless, Random.
See
you were
you,
saying
random. God bless, man.
Just so people know, CK's live is
Oh, okay,
open
okay.
as well.
we'll probably go there
Um,
whenever you're done, Chris. I just
I'm
want to
enjoying the
know from
conversation, but
Ape, like how this all works when, like, what is the point in which I can kind of become a woman in society? Like, what is that point? Like, how do we know? Like, how do you know if I like? Can I just do it now? Can I just claim to be one now, according to his worldview?
You specifically, I doubt it because there's a social acceptance factor.
How many people? How do I get accepted? What do you mean? What is this process?
Depends on the country.
Yeah, that's a major issue there.
So different countries can recognize women or not?
Well, different countries are different societies. I mean, heck, just in the United States, we've got 50 different societies.
Let's say, like, I'm in the United States. How do I become a woman?
That seems to be something that you might want to talk to a psychologist about.
No, but wait, what? He says societal acceptance, and then you said this seems confusing. If I want to become a woman, shouldn't I just be able to be accepted by society as one?
Yeah, because that worked so well in the Monty Python movie where they, what is that, Life of Brian, that they made that little skit.
I'm not talking about movies. This is serious. Like kids are transitioning these days because they're paying.
Okay, but are they doing it? But are they doing it in the way that you're trying to describe it as suddenly I want to become a woman even though you've been a man your entire life?
Yep.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course.
And they're doing it faster because like kids have less life. Maybe adults do it in 3 years. Kids only have 10 years to decide?
Yeah. Listen, Abe, do you believe that like bathroom access should be like neutral? Like, if you identify as a woman, you could just go into a female bathroom as a man?
No, I believe our entire bathroom system is screwed up anyways because of the weird safety laws and stuff like that they have to enforce. It would actually be easier just to have no urinals and individual stalls with an open sink area.
What about like sports competitions and stuff? You believe that anyone can participate in anything?
I am not a fan of sports. I believe that sports should be single gender, and that would cut off the entire thing because then the women that can't compete with the men wouldn't have an issue. The men who can compete with the women and the various ones that the women excel at, they wouldn't have an issue.
That would cut off women's sports.
No, it wouldn't.
Have you seen the NBA versus the WNBA?
Just cut off
the sizes.
2/3 of women's sports.
Yeah, just the sizes of these people are like a 6'4", 6'5" male.
I went to
that
I went to Malaysia.
Impact on it.
I went to Malaysia with the army, and we played a game of friendly rugby against the Malay Air Force, and it was just unfair because I was 90 kilos. Biggest forwards might have been 90 kilos.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big man. They had to use their entire pack just to hold the ruck. And then we would pass it twice, and we had 5 people ready to run to the touch because we were just bigger.
Yeah.
It was just a fact.
You seen that Matt Walsh documentary, Ape?
That's a good documentary.
I don't even know what Matt Walsh is.
Yeah, could you define what a woman is?
Can you define what a chair is?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
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 Can you answer the first
has
question?
4 legs, usually made up of wood or plastic, sometimes metal.
Martina.
Well,
what is a woman?
Surface where you can actually sit on. Yeah.
Surface.
So the problem is by that definition, though, is that would also include my coffee table and a couple other things.
Yes, you can use them as a chair. Yeah.
The purpose
Yeah,
of
you can use it as a chair. Yeah.
Stop talking over me, please. Okay. The purpose of asking what a chair is in response to asking what a woman is because you were asking for a normative use of a word. Okay. Those words have very simplistic definitions. The problem is the community that you are so against is in effect socially hijacking those words.
Okay, how about this?
Can a table be used as a chair?
How about this? We gave you some markers of a chair. Can you give us some markers of a woman? What is a woman?
2 legs, 2 arms. Come on, Carnivorous.
Something.
Maybe
What
a
is unique to a woman? What are some markers of a woman? We gave you some markers of a chair.
She also has a surface because it's a typology.
I'd like to point out that I'd like to point out again that you're talking, or you are asking me a question and then immediately talking, so I can't answer.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Would you call me a black woman?
I wouldn't call you anything because I don't know who you are.
There, I'm Martina Big. That's my picture right there.
That's not your picture.
Am I a black woman now?
No, but like, what is a
Definitely look
marker
like
of
one.
a woman? What is a
Identified.
single marker of a woman other than identifying yourself as one? Like we helped you. We entered a chair. Some markers. What is a marker of a woman other than identifying yourself as that?
An adult, or a woman is an adult human
What else?
that corresponds with stereotypes and traditions typically associated with the female sex.
Well, hold on.
See,
Wait.
that's a very late
There's a little
modern
stereotype.
version.
So it's a
Sorry,
stereotype.
I have a question about
That's
stereotypes.
the Obama
There is
Night,
this
definition.
there is this weird and crazy stereotype that women can have kids. Can I don't know, like, can a trans man that is becoming a woman, according to you, can have the stereotype of having a baby?
That's not that stereotype.
Are you done with the argument from absurdity? Because that was just dumb.
It's not of absurdity.
That was absolutely absurd.
But,
like, how do you know? How do you know
It's
someone's
not
a
absurd
woman?
because that's one of the interesting things.
No, it is
You can
absurd
call yourself a
when you
fish as
ask
much as
for
you
an
like,
example. When you ask for a definition that gives you a general example, and then you use an example that is not part of that definition to say something that is absolutely ridiculous. That is
women
an
don't have
argument from
babies?
absurdity.
but you laughed at the life of Brian, and one of the points that they made was, you can say I want to have children, but you just can't have children.
So you said stereotypes, right?
This is not an insult, and please understand, I'm not insulting anyone who wants to, if they want to dress up
No, I
as a
brought up
woman.
the
I
life of
have
Brian
no
to show
problems
that this
with that.
argument has been
I'm
going on
not
for the
saying
last
anything
15
like
years.
that. I'm just saying if they don't have a womb, they can't have kids. That's a biological fact.
Yes, and that wasn't really in any argument.
Martina, is that Peking man?
He said stereotypes associated with the female sex.
Stereotypes
Can you
and traditions typically associated with the female sex.
Can you give me some examples of what stereotypes you're talking about? What is like some examples of that stereotype?
Long hair, high voice, tits.
Okay, so a man having long hair. You've never seen me, but I have long hair.
I have long hair too.
Okay, so
I've sadly got tits.
we've got all that covered here on the panel tonight. So, that doesn't seem to. Okay, is that all?
Okay.
What else?
Let me give you an example. If you go to a store and you see somebody's that you can only see from the back, and they've got long hair, they've got narrow shoulders, they've got bracelets on one arm, and you turn around and say, "Excuse me, miss," and they turn around and they've got a full beard.
Oh no!
What do you mean?
Okay,
like a drag queen.
No, just it's
called
man
a
with
mistake.
long hair that just okay.
You better duck.
Yeah, I would say there's something wrong with them.
Okay, but are you going to turn around and go, why the heck do you look like a woman from the back? Or are you going to go,
no, I would say I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah,
I would say I'm sorry, sir.
I just got it wrong. I made a mistake.
Yeah, I just got it wrong.
Okay.
I'm sorry, sir. Could you move over so I can go to the checkout counter?
Does your social assumption that was in fact a woman change the fact that was actually
no? But they turned around and I immediately can recognize they're a man.
Okay, so there are stereotypes and traditions that are associated with the female sex that will help with the appraisal of it being a woman.
Why is it that when we ask questions that are biological, we like to talk about the social aspect of this issue? What about molecular structure? What about that?
You mean biologically?
Biological, molecular. What are the distinctions?
I don't think the molecules change. I think it's more the biology.
Well, the chromosome, the DNA.
Like the
we went through some of it. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, we did go through some of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, we're saying stereotypes, and the problem with that definition is you're kind of saying that I should be, if I kind of affirm or like take on some of these stereotypes, affirmed by all of society as this, basically, right? Like that's what you're kind of saying.
Yes, and for
But that's
more
just
liberal
that's
people,
just my
you would in fact be affirmed as a woman, whereas the more conservative people would turn around and go, "No, you're a man. You just chop your thing off."
if
No one's affirmed by all of society.
yeah, if someone is bald and you know they can wear a wig, but it doesn't make them not bald, right? And it doesn't mean all of society has to affirm them. If someone has a slight slang that they talk a certain way, it doesn't mean that they have to be affirmed of a certain culture, right? Like we talked about black or white or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm an
so
Aussie. That doesn't mean I'm always a criminal.
Right. Right.
Oh, it's like-
What I'm trying to say is, like, this seems like some feelings were affirming, other feelings were not affirming.
Martina's black. I don't know why I don't want to start with stereotypes then.
Yeah, I'm black.
Martina is a person. That's all I have access to the information right now.
Michael
Am I
Jackson.
black? If you saw me in public, like you said, you saw me from the back, right? Right. And got the BBW and all the BBL and all of that. And, and your stereotype, you think I'm a black woman. And you look in the front, I've just got a really burned tan. Would you still consider me black?
That depends, because if I've heard you talk, then I'm automatically going to assume you're male.
What if he tells you he's a woman? What if
Wait a
Martina says he's
second.
a woman? Like he says, no, I'm really
She's
a woman.
a black woman from New Zealand, dude.
Okay, and if I see them in person, or if I actually confirm that as part of a social introduction, then fine, they're a woman.
You would affirm that they're a woman just because they say they're a woman?
It doesn't bother me. It has no effect whatsoever on my life.
Is there a criminal?
I truly
that
don't care if they want to call themselves a man or a woman or whatever. I'll still love them.
Okay. A perfect example. I used to work at a construction site. There was a biological female that would come in as a contractor all the time, and it didn't dawn on me until like 2 years into working there that she was a trans man. Okay, it didn't take me anything to start going from ma'am to sir and affirming her gender because she was a customer. And it had no impact on my life.
That's not the question I'm asking. I'm asking about society has to reorient. Should society, not do you personally have a feeling towards this? We're talking about society. We're talking about laws. Everything is changing for this nonsense.
Society has been reorienting for the last 100 years because of this.
Yeah, but it's contrary to what nature is. It goes against what nature is.
I have a question. If there was, I don't know, a criminal that suddenly wanted to become a woman, and he would state the idea that he committed that as a male, as you would say, but now that he's a woman, he wouldn't be the same person. Is it okay? Would you reaffirm it?
No, because I'm a little bit more liberal on that one.
So are they the same person, or they're not the same person?
Stop, you got to stop interrupting me so I can actually answer. I'm a little bit more liberal on that one, in the simple fact that if a criminal is going to attempt to avoid a, say, male prison by jumping to a female prison by claiming that they are trans, then congratulations, free bottom surgery. Okay.
What does that mean?
Because in that instance right there is you're going to have to double check your thought process on that one.
The penis being chopped off.
Wait, but that would. Oh, wait. Hold on. Do you have to get the surgery in order to identify as a woman, according to you?
You do not have to get it to identify as one, but you do have to, in order to qualify as one for the purposes of government.
What if I like my feminine eggplant?
Yeah, why? Like, what if? Yeah, there's nothing that tells you that you should. Just making that up.
Well, No, but he was talking about prison.
There is going to prison. Okay, that's the issue there. If you have a phallus in that instance, and you are going to a female prison, then there is going to be all kinds of issues right there.
Oh, you would force like estrogen too on them?
Congratulations, free bottom surgery. You are not going to walk in there with a male appendage as a woman.
Wow. You know what the next step is that I fear? Actually, I don't fear. I know this is going to be the case because I know how these things go because I read my Bible. But gene editing is next. It's gonna get
yeah.
I will call this area, guys. It's gonna get worse.
I will call it the slippery slope phallus. How about that?
Yeah, the slippery slope phallus.
The phallus.
An actual slippery slope. Yeah.
Yeah.
The science is not there yet, but that's what they're working on in their labs. That's what they're spending our tax dollars on. You can guarantee. Mm-hmm.
Well, when you're working on
the return, guys, he's soon to return. Because once they start playing with that XX and that X what, listen, I'm telling you, they're gonna make a movie about this. Watch, because you guys won't believe it unless Hollywood.
They already did it with Gattaca, no?
You won't believe
maybe
it.
Not about sex.
No, Gattaca was about the DNA.
Gattaca was it was the human purity
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, they remember this human centipede? Remember the human centipede?
That's a huge jump from Gattaca to the human centipede.
How about the fly?
That's
we're not talking about Muhammad at the moment.
It was always animals. It was always animals, but that's not what they're going to be trying. It's going to be extension of life. We know they're trying to do that.
They've been trying. Yeah.
And then
Mao or whatever his name is, the Chinese guy got caught on a hot bike talking about getting a shot to extend his life.
The thing is with all of this stuff though, like the stuff we see in the Bible seems to have been more true than all of these hopes and dreams, because we actually see Jesus raising people from the dead, healing the sick. We see that still today, people still being healed. And so we see the truth is there, where these other things are theories, but I've yet to see the evidence. And science is supposed to be based around evidence.
Yes, but I think you're confusing hypotheses for theories.
No, I'm not. I'm suggesting that a lot of things that are claimed, particularly by atheists, as scientific reality are hypotheses only.
Yet some theories are just hypotheses, because you cannot have the time or you cannot have the model to actually make them theories because of time and because of number of cases.
And if you remember, we were talking about the skeleton record, and that's one example.
Yeah, the fossil record.
Right, where we don't have the transition species that are supposed to have existed. But it's still taught as science, even though it's not repeatable, and we don't have actual records. We have, well, it makes sense that it would be. That's not science.
Okay, so the reason why that is science is because it was repeated numerous times, though. That's the thing. You say it's not repeated, or you say it's not repeatable. The problem is it was repeated.
Really? Show me a single experiment that showed a transfer of one species to a different species.
Again, that's not how evolution works. You do not jump from one species to another. It's not. That
is literally the teaching of the atheistic evolution.
That is not.
There should be an involvement. Evolving. Where's the evolving?
Every generation involves the evolutionary process. Okay,
right.
It is literally the fact that because you are different from your parents, that is one singular step in evolution.
Are you saying that your concept of this is that you didn't evolve from a species in the water?
I mean, yeah, you have to go back a hell of a lot of generations for that, like, millions of
Right.
generations.
So we are talking about changing from species to species.
No, we're not. We're talking about diversification.
I'm sorry. Are you still breathing in the water? Are you still
Okay.
a fish?
Are you aware that organisms get simpler the further back you go?
Yes.
Okay. So the complexity that you're seeing on the simple fact that we no longer swim around in the water is because our particular genetic branch on that line have evolved lungs and legs and spines.
Okay. Are you aware that some of those species have much more complexity than humans?
Yes, because their genetic branch on that line
So the
evolved in a different
complexity,
way.
so the complexity doesn't always get simpler.
What do you mean?
Well, if there are more complex fish species than the humanity, that means that complexity didn't just get simpler. That means that it also got more complicated.
Yes, it works both ways. It
Right.
literally
So it's not, as you said, that things get simpler. It's that things change. Again,
no,
showing
it's
that there's no consistency in this theory.
There's organisms in
there
the past that are more
there
complex
are
than the modern ones. That's what basically it's
That's right.
being
no
said.
no that's the issue that you're having.
There's both
There are
ways.
extant species that that are more complex than us. Okay.
No. This is all again assuming that we came from the amoeba.
No, because an amoeba
There
is a
is
modern
no
thing.
there is no actual evidence. There is suggestion. There is hypothesis. There is dreams and wishes and well-being.
There's like maybe a direction idea. Yeah.
It may be true, but it may not be. And the simple fact of the matter is, it's not been repeated. It's hypothesis.
Okay, the thing is that one line right there you just said, it may be true, it may not be. I've already
Yep.
said that already. Science works in models. Okay. So far, the evolutionary model is the best explanation we have for the theory of evolution.
I think the
That's
biblical model is the
okay.
better
Yeah.
explanation.
You are allowed that opinion. The problem is it's an opinion. Okay.
So is yours.
So is yours. Yeah.
My opinion is backed up by evidence.
What
Yeah,
evidence?
No, it's not.
ours too.
What evidence? We
Yeah.
just went through and pointed out that that's not the case, that the evidence actually lacks all of the evidence required to be evidence. The gap species is literally the evidence that is supposed to be there that is not.
It just means that you're accepting evidence that is not there.
Okay.
But it's so that's a myth.
Do you realize we have been for the last 2 hours now? We have literally been arguing a skit out of Futurama.
Hey, carnivorous
And
crowd.
Futurama's a brilliantly designed cartoon. I love it.
Carnivorous, remember our debate on slavery in the Bible? Do you remember that? I still have it
the Bible.
on
Yeah.
video.
Uh-huh.
The
You
funny
remember
thing
that?
is,
Cool.
atheists
Are
often
you wanting to
think
get
that
back into that?
No. I just wanted to know if your carnivorous mind, ape mind, remembered that.
Jill, I give you very little thought, so you're going to have to give me a little bit because unfortunately, it has been about 3 years since I've been wandering around.
Yeah, good to see you back. Good to see you back.
like the biblical model actually says the reason that there's all of this variation in species is because God created it. Your model says the reason there's all these various species is because, well,
So I spent 2 hours up here trying to explain it to you by going, wah.
No, you spent 2 hours up here trying to explain it to me by saying that we have all of this evidence, and then not presenting the evidence that we have.
The genetic
Because we
modification
don't.
of pig hearts, the whale
No.
from
The pig
tetrapod,
evidence that you brought up was incorrect.
Yeah.
Random even confirmed that it was correct.
No, what Random confirmed was that what it was talking about was that pig DNA had to be changed to be more compatible with human DNA. It wasn't talking about specific domesticated pigs or wild pigs, and that there's a difference between them and wild pigs wouldn't work. It was saying all pig DNA to work to human had to be changed to be acceptable to graft onto humans without rejection.
Yes. And we had to use domesticated pigs, and we still had to genetically modify them further. So, what makes you think that a wild
We
pig
didn't have
work?
to use domesticated pigs. We
No, we
chose to use them
started- we
because they're the
started with
easiest
domesticated.
choice.
Yes, but even the domesticated pigs wouldn't have worked.
But your claim was that it was that you couldn't use wild pigs.
Yes,
And
because you can't.
that was the evidence that you brought up, was to show that you had to use domesticated pigs, not wild pigs. It wasn't stating that you had to use domesticated pigs. It was stating that you had to use genetically modified pigs.
Okay. The thing is, though, is the gene that they had to genetically modify out of the domestic pigs is the thing that is in the pig genetic line, which means the wild pigs wouldn't have worked either.
That's right. Neither of them would have worked.
Exactly.
Because they're a different species.
Yes. Which is the reason why we had to pull out the differences. That way, all we were left with was the similarities. That way, we would be able to get genetic acceptance.
Right.
Okay.
That doesn't show a transfer of species.
No, that doesn't. That
Right.
was literally a separate argument.
I know. But my point was, you said you brought up this evidence. The evidence you brought up didn't point out anything that you were even talking about.
The whale fossil evidence, that was literally an observation that because a whale still has bones in its back flippers that resemble the bones connected to its pelvis, but not actually connected, but there are vestigial bones in its pelvis, that it would have evolved from a four-legged land animal. And then they turned around and to test the hypothesis of that, went to Pakistan, dug down into the Miocene era, and found fossils of a creature that matched the description. Okay, that is how you do science. You observe, you hypothesize, you predict, you test.
That's enough for me. I'm going to step out, Chris. Thanks for having me.
God bless. CK's on if you want to.
God bless, man.
Nice speaking with you
God
again.
bless.
Long time, man.
We can whenever you want to end it, Chris. It's okay.
I really really missed you, Carnivorous. God bless you.
Oh, sure.
Well, thank you guys for the chat.
All right.
I'm sure you missed calling me a liberal every time we talk.
Yeah, man. I can't wait until you get back out here so I can start calling you more.
Just last question, Carnivorous. What is your main point of contention that you wouldn't accept the Christian ideology or
the
religion?
Christian ideology? The God of the Bible, as described by the Bible, is a logical paradox.
Paradigm or paradox?
Paradox.
Okay, what is the paradox for you?
Okay, so God is described as being all loving, all knowing, and all powerful.
Yep.
Okay. If he is all knowing and all powerful, then he's not all loving because evil exists. If he is all loving and all knowing, then he's not all powerful because evil exists. If he is all powerful,
that's just dumb.
Or if he is all powerful and all knowing, then he can't be all loving.
No, that's just you importing your desires for control onto God. You're saying, well, God had to interact and must interact because otherwise he's not all loving.
It's not even a factor of being interacting. If he is all powerful, he could have made the universe in such a way as the idea of evil never enters our minds, and still give us
Right.
free will
But,
because he's all
but then
powerful.
we wouldn't have free will.
No, we would still have free will.
How would we have free will if we didn't have the possibility or the thought to freely will?
Well, according to the Bible, that's how we were made in the first place, wasn't it? You know, we didn't get free
No.
will until we, ate an apple off a tree.
No, that's not true. That's not
No,
true
how
at all.
could
In
you
fact,
could you eat it if you don't
said-
have free will?
eat of any tree of the garden except that one, if you remember. That is the exact example of free will. You're being
Right.
given all the options,
Okay,
and you're
what-
being given a
And the
warning to, if you choose that one, you will surely die.
Okay,
And the
And
fact
they
the-
chose that one and surely died.
Right. And the fact they chose that one shows free will.
so they chose it voluntarily, or were they tricked
Yes,
to it?
they chose it voluntarily.
So there wasn't a talking snake in the garden.
There was a talking snake. Did the
Okay.
talking snake force them,
That depends.
or did he
because
just lie to them?
what specific tree was that?
The tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Okay, so if they didn't know good and evil, were they aware that the consequences of their actions would be what they were?
Yes, because they had been told that if you eat from that tree, you will surely die. And they were told, don't eat from that tree.
The information was given before, yeah, for sure. So they already knew
That's
that
called
that was
knowledge.
not a good thing. That's knowledge, yeah.
They might not have had full understanding, but they knew that was the rule. And they knew that was the consequence.
If you believe in evil, don't you have to believe in good?
I don't believe in either.
You don't
Right.
believe in good and you don't believe in evil.
Nope.
Well, you should read more. Because evil exists. It definitely exists.
I mean, I
Then
believe
why wouldn't
I believe
the-
them to exist as concepts, but I don't believe them to exist as prescriptive orders.
If you don't believe in evil, how can you reject God because there's evil? If you don't believe in evil,
It's called an internal critique.
Okay,
What are
go
you
for it.
internally critiquing?
The Bible.
But the Bible tells us that we have free will to choose good or evil. And you're saying it's an internal critique to criticize God for giving us the free will. How does that make sense?
Because when you read the Bible cover to cover, it literally just
Tells us that he loves us, that he wants us to be saved. It tells us that he gave us the choice, and we get to make the choice whether we want to be in relationship with him. And he's not going to force us because he's not a rapist. He doesn't force us to love him. That sounds like free will.
I mean, you can take what you will out of the story of Mary, but because I'm pretty sure that wasn't with her consent.
What?
It
Mary?
very much was.
I mean, I can bring up that particular passage, but fairly certain that she said no the first time.
She was concerned about it because she hadn't been with a man. She said, "How is this possible? I haven't laid with a man." That is different from saying, "No, I'm not accepting this." Just like the whole free will thing is free will when you're given the option to make a choice.
Okay, but if you were given the options to make a choice, and you are not aware that a third option exists, are you going to choose the third option?
Stick on the topic.
I am.
The first two options were eat of that tree and don't eat of that tree. What is the third option that you're talking about?
Kill the snake.
Right. So they didn't kill the snake. Where was that required? They could have just not eaten from the tree.
Yeah. Or said no.
So why did they need to kill the snake? How is that in any way related to our conversation? That's called a red herring to distract.
Well, now, Chris, be fair. Killing the snake would have been a more forceful way to say no.
It would have been a more forceful way to say no. That's true.
Right.
Would have also given.
But I suspect not having the knowledge of good and evil, it might not have come to their mind because they didn't understand the concept of death.
They also didn't understand the concept of snake.
Yes.
And the snake wouldn't be so happy, by the way.
Oh, sure, it would have.
Killing the snake would have just been a stronger no. So yes and no are still the only two options.
Killing the snake would have been in debate terms. Nuh-uh. Which, as we know, is the ultimate.
Hold on, Mac. Were you just eating someone's liver with fava beans and a nice Chianti?
I think he was.
It's good because it takes away spirits. The liver.
Yes, but it tastes horrible.
The incredulity presented by atheists when they refer to the Bible always has to do with the shifting nature of God, or what they see as contradictory commands, or the problem of free will versus evil, or, oh my God, the genealogies are wrong, right? All this stuff just makes me ill on the inside, and I don't care.
Okay.
Could you believe in perfection somehow?
I believe in perfection as a concept, but I don't think that anything is possible to actually get perfect. No.
If you can conceive it in your mind, could you?
I mean, I can
perfection
conceive
in your
of a
mind?
unicorn in my mind, but that doesn't mean it exists.
Could you make that unicorn perfect?
No.
Couldn't it be a perfect unicorn, even
No.
if it's not real? Then God doesn't exist because you don't have good imagination, man.
Let me ask
I
you
mean,
a
that is an issue.
simple.
I am a fantastic on that one. So
Let me ask you a simple question, Abe, a very simple question. And I'm going to synthesize 2,000 years of theological thought into this simple question. So pardon me while I do that. Do you believe that something was true in order for you to come into existence?
yes, my parents had sex.
And do you believe something was true in order for that thing to happen?
I would assume their parents had sex. Yes.
And something was true before that?
There is an ad infinitum there. Yes.
Yep. So is there a first truth?
As a concept, or as an
As a transcendental, as something that exists outside of your reality, was there a first truth?
Not that I can picture. No.
And yet it simply it simply needs to exist. In order for everything else to be true, there needs to be something that was true first.
Okay, but that's the fundamental difference between theists and atheists.
No, it's not.
We're comfortable saying we don't know.
No, that's the exact opposite.
No, but-
you guys say we know, you guys are silly, you guys are
No.
believing in all of this stuff because we actually have science.
once
You guys
again-
just trust in your sky daddy.
No, once again, okay. So yes, I understand you've talked to a lot of angry atheists, and I will apologize to them on their behalf.
No, don't
apologize
do that.
to you on their behalf.
Don't ever apologize for anybody.
Don't worry.
Just
We
control your own
understand.
behavior. Don't ever apologize.
They're
to
part of
anybody
your.
else.
You have some responsibility for them. No, man. Don't.
No.
Yeah.
It's all
but
right. It's all right.
the thing is, though, is I can empathize with you guys because I've dealt with that on both sides of it. Okay, that's the thing. I can apologize to you because I understand the difficulty of dealing with an angry atheist. Okay, I hope I presented myself at least a little bit, higher decorum than your standard.
Not bad.
Atheist.
Not bad. I've been listening on and off, but again, my simple question is this, right? And before we use the example of the Big Bang, and I'd like to use that as analogy, but not as scientific fact, right? Because it's still a theory and it's still argued with, right? But at the Big Bang, when the universe expanded, right?
Yes.
And
expanded, not exploded. Yes, I appreciate you for doing.
I am an actual scientist. I actually know these things. Okay. when the universe expanded, and it was a huge amount of expansion, right?
Yeah.
But before that expansion, something needed to be true. Something had to have the ability to expand.
Okay. I mean, if you're throwing a god of the gaps in there for like a deistic god, then sure.
I'm not throwing anything. I'm not overlaying a single thing. I am asking you to affirm the fact that there is an original truth, that there needs to be a first truth.
The math breaks down. That's all we know for
The
certain.
math doesn't break down. See, in my life, I've actually done math for the Vatican telescope. So trust me when I tell you that the math doesn't break down. I've done the math.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not an expert in cosmology.
I am.
Okay.
So I am.
That's fine. Why does the math not break down?
Because there is no math.
When we're talking about the red shift and the stuff that actually dates the universe, the math doesn't break down for that?
No,
None of the math breaks down. Right? Our models don't properly explain it, but that's not a breakdown of mathematics. That's a breakdown of human comprehension. We call that the semiotic trap. We don't call it, the math doesn't break down.
Okay, I apologize for using I don't know what that sound was. I apologize for using bad wording.
Right.
The model breaks down. That is that an acceptable?
Very good. I agree. Yes. The model breaks down. I agree.
Okay. Anything before that, I have no problems whatsoever to say that I do not know, and I probably never will.
Yeah, but that's not my simple question, right? My simple question is, even though we don't have words and concepts to describe it, there must be something to be described, because something was true before all of that.
Okay.
Now, if you take that back to its logical first principle, there must be something in the beginning, something first. And again, I'm not overlaying theology onto this. I'm just getting you to affirm. I'm just trying to figure out whether or not you believe in transcendental truth, right?
No.
Something had to be true first.
For something to work, to begin.
Causes, motions, I can argue from Aquinas all day. I'm doing this with the concept of truth because I think that's simpler for an atheist to understand.
Honestly, it sounds like you're trying to rehash the Kalam argument, and it's.
I'm not. I'm actually rehashing Aquinas' 5 ways.
Okay, because I feel like there's going to be a
nope,
first mover or a caused cause.
I was going to. I'm literally rehashing Aquinas' 5 ways: mover, cause, all that stuff. Right.
Okay.
Put it out of your mind. I none of that. Right. I could argue from all of that, but I'm not, right? In this moment, I am only arguing from a chain of truth, right? You exist because something is true. That true thing exists because something was true about it. Yes. And that truth exists because something was true about it, back and back and back and back until we get to the first truth, something transcendental that was true before all other things were true.
Okay.
That's it. We call that thing God. You can call that thing whatever you like. We call that thing God.
Yeah, it's the idea of a first mover, pretty much.
Okay. So the thing is, though,
I'm not using
same idea without going there.
I'm really trying not to use Aquinas' language in this moment.
No, the thing is, though, is that only really gets you to a deistic God.
It only gets you to. It only gets you to.
It doesn't even.
It doesn't even get me to God.
It presupposes a movement because every movement we observe is a movement caused by something.
The issue though is that adds another assumption to the list of assumptions that you have to make in your life, and I choose not to add that one.
So,
but you have all this.
You've already made that.
In order for us to debate anything, we need to proceed from axioms. That's how logic works.
Yes, you have
existence.
You have 3 basal assumptions. We exist. The universe exists, and we can learn from the universe.
And yet, something must have been true about the universe before it was. because that's what the Big Bang tells us. The Big Bang Theory, at its root principle, literally makes the claim that something was true before anything was.
Yes. That's the entire concept.
And by the way, I want to point out that that would be also the point that Chris was
Hold
making.
on, Mac. I just want to let that thought sit for a second. Just let that thought sit for a second, okay? The whole metaphysical claim of the Big Bang is that something was true before anything was. It's a true statement about the Big Bang Theory. Do you understand the argument I'm trying to make, Abe?
I can vaguely get there, but it still feels like they're the whole fact of that just because the model that we have breaks down, it just literally means that even our scientific community is still at the point of we don't know, let's keep studying.
Yes, we are humans.
Okay.
We can only express what we know with the signs and symbols we can communicate among one another. There are no signs and symbols that exist in what we are able to communicate to one another to describe that truth that existed before anything else was.
Okay, and I have no problems not knowing. That's
And yet you know that thing exists. You just can't describe it.
That's the issue with not knowing is I don't know if it exists or not.
No, you know it exists, you just don't know how to describe it. Something must have been true before anything was. That's the fundamental claim of the Big Bang Theory. If you're going to hold to the Big Bang Theory, you have to hold to all of it, not just part of it.
I don't really hold to the Big Bang Theory as a instrumental thing, because it's literally not the only hypothesis we have.
But it's
you got the big bounce.
It's the current
eternal
standard
inflation
model. It's the current standard model.
It
right?
is the
It's
current
model
standard
we
model.
share.
But there are also competing models, and the simple fact that we don't know which one is which yet.
Okay,
we
all right.
still use the Big Bang because it's the most popular one.
You yourself used the Big Bang to attempt to make an argument. All I'm doing is trying to conform your view to the Big Bang, your view of the Big Bang, to the proper purpose and actual, like what the Big Bang actually means, right? Because I don't think you have that. I think you have the universe expanded from nothing, but I don't think you're able to think outside of that box, let alone inside of that box.
I was about to say I can't come up with a physical concept of nothing, so I'm kind of stuck in a wall.
Right. Yeah. Ex nihilo is hard for everybody.
Well, on top of that, the simple fact that as soon as you start describing nothing, you have something.
Amen. We don't have signs and symbols to describe what we mean. That's my whole thing. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, so
even though we don't have language to communicate that concept to one another, we know transcendentally that concept exists.
Yes, and we have competing arguments on what happened before that, the existence that you're talking about.
Okay, but yes was enough, right? Yes is all I needed.
For what?
But the answer to my question is yes.
I'm sorry, it's almost 1 a.m. Can you repeat the question one more time so I can confirm or deny?
There is something back then. There was a cause.
Something, is it or is it not the case? And even though you can't explain it using human language, that something was true before anything was.
Even though we might not describe it or know it.
We can't describe it. We don't know what it is, right? But we know that something was true before anything was.
Okay, I'm going to tentatively say yes.
Okay. Now, all I'm saying is, and I'll take your tentative yes, and I'll say it this way, right? We explain that as God, all right? And all of our concept of God comes from that fundamental truth, right? Everything else that we argue about God with atheists, if we argue from the Bible, if we argue from whatever, none of that makes any sense if you can't wrap your mind around the fundament, the absolute truth that something was true before anything was. Then the conversation, we're just talking past one another.
Okay, but if you're going all the way back to the beginning of the actual universe,
no, I'm going back to the beginning of everything. I don't believe the Big Bang is the beginning of the universe. I believe it's the beginning of this universe. I believe it's the beginning of what we see created in this moment, right? But that's not the beginning. There's an actual beginning that we can't know.
So would you ascribe to the Big Bang, Big Crush theories, or
I don't know about heat death. I don't know from heat death to super expansion to crunch. I can't distinguish between those two things. Gravity in this moment, what we know about mass in the universe and gravity leads to just expansion and eventual heat death, right? That math is pretty easy to do.
Yeah. Okay, I can agree with that. Yeah, it's what is it? We got a couple of billion years before our star goes nova or something like that.
Yeah, but again, whenever you hear the words dark matter and dark energy, those are just placeholders for we don't have a clue.
Yeah, right? Those are placeholders.
Yeah, so the dark energy,
the math doesn't work yet.
Yeah,
for the model.
The dark energy concept is simply that there is something in the universe that has an anti-gravitational force that causes the universe to continually expand. That's it. And given the argument over the cosmological constant and all that, if you go back to Einstein, cosmological constant good. Einstein, cosmological constant nonsense. Einstein, cosmological constant good, right? And then you could read like all the way up to Feynman, right? And I would suggest Feynman to everyone in the crowd on this subject because he's literally the best guy ever to talk about.
Yeah, Feynman's pretty good.
Right. We simply can't know. There isn't a way to express the concepts, right? We create models and we do mathematics wrapped around those models, but it's insufficient. None of it perfectly proves a thing. The standard model of particle physics is probably the most accurate model we've ever created, and yet it in and of itself is insufficient to the task.
I prefer old light theory.
There's a guy in the world, oh my god, I can't, his last name is Magalho Julio, I don't know. He's a Portuguese guy who has done a lot of math related to the variable speed of light theory. And I love that math. It's so elegant and it's so awesome, but it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. And we're going to be having these conversations now into infinity. For as long as the human race exists, we're going to be having these conversations.
I was about to say, I can almost guarantee you there is going to be a conversation 1,000 years from now that's going to be the exact same crap.
Yeah. It's going to be five guys sitting on whatever the year 3000 version of YouTube is talking about this crazy crap. We're still going to be doing it. Except one of us is going to be on Mars and the other one's going to be somewhere in the Oort cloud.
Do you remember those people who used to think that the Big Bang was a thing?
Those people that what?
I don't know. I was just thinking like 5,000 years from now, like the like we laugh at the flat earthers because they use GPS to get to their flat Earth meeting. I was just thinking it would be the same sort of thing with some of the theories that we have, like current Big Bang model.
Flat earthers drive me nuts.
I was about to say, my sarcastic refutation of flat Earth is if the Earth was flat, the cats would have knocked everything off of it by now. So
that's a good. I'm using that. That's a good reputation. I like that one.
I just tell them to go to Kmart, buy themselves a telescope, look up on the ISS where it is, so that they can actually watch it in their own telescope. They can pull
What?
the telescope apart and check that it's just a bunch of mirrors and optics, and it's not a NASA.
But just for you, Ape, I have a cat who is exactly that cat. He's exactly that cat.
About the flat Earth, like honestly, guys, do cats exist?
In their model?
Cats certainly exist. I have one in my lap right now.
I miss my cat.
You sure?
Random is not gonna show it probably, but it's fine.
I'm not gonna cam up and show my cat. I'm not gonna do that. My cat is.
Doesn't want to dox his cat.
I finish up.
I had a pure black cat that I saved from running around in traffic on a rainy day on the way to work one day, and I loved her. She was with me for about 8 years.
You guys want to take it back to maybe CK?
Nah, before we do that, I want to tell my favorite joke for Ape because Euler said something about it in chat. So, Erwin Schrödinger gets stopped about 20 miles outside of Barstow driving a 67 Coupe de Ville convertible. Cop walks up and says, "Do you know why I stopped you?" He says, "I have no idea." Cop says, "You mind if I check the trunk?" Dr. Schrödinger says, "Absolutely, check the trunk." Cop opens the trunk and says, "Mr. Schrödinger, why is there a dead cat in your trunk?" Schrödinger turns around and says, "Yeah, it's dead now."
Okay. Actually, pretty funny, man. But like,
that's my favorite joke in the whole world.
Yeah,
I still get amused that that's exactly the opposite point to what he was making.
It's okay. It's funny because you can understand it. It's not funny if you feel like you have to explain it. And
yeah, it's only funny for nerds. It's only funny
unfortunately,
for nerds.
I know several people that joke that would go right over their head, and you'd be standing there like kind of
yeah. But like I told it for you, Abe, because I knew you get the joke. I told it for you, Abe, because I knew you get it.
No, I got it.
I wanted to make a point that Chris Oki was right. The Big Bang Theory, you could just call it the Big Bang hypotheses.
Well, I mean, in that case, there are several Big Bang hypotheses. That's why we get the Big Bang Big Crunch theory and stuff like that.
That's from the Big Bounce, right?
I think so.
And JWST made them rethink because they looked back and went, "Oh, those galaxies are too big and too old."
There's another one. It's a multiverse theory.
Well, in science, in science, right? A hypothesis. We narrowly define words. We use them precisely, right? A hypothesis describes a specific testable prediction, right? A theory is not that thing. A theory is something else entirely.
Yes.
Okay.
But the Big Bang is mislabeled because it's not the provable thing that claims or that theory would suggest.
So a theory is a set of testable facts that best closely explains a
wide range of natural phenomena.
Yes.
Wide range. It's broad. A theory is broad and explanatory for a broad set of observations, facts, and tested hypotheses. Now, the hypotheses themselves are narrowly defined and super specific. That's it, Mac. I just wanted to give that to you.
So the theory of evolution is easily
a hypothesis too.
No, the theory of evolution is a series of hypotheses that were tested and were shown to be true.
Oh no, there's a whole bunch of them
there are several
were never ever tested. Other than to fail, they have tried to make life, and that has failed a bunch of times.
You're talking about the Miller experiment?
I don't know the names of them, but I know that I've read several papers on different chemical attempts to create.
To say that evolutionary biology has been proven to be true simply goes against current teaching in evolutionary biology and evolving models in evolutionary biology. So again, evolutionary biology not proven true, still evolving, still an evolving science.
Well, the underlying statement behind evolutionary biology is still proven true.
It hasn't been proven
literally
true.
it's literally the at its absolute roots, it's literally the fact that things change.
Things do indeed, yes, entropy. I can claim entropy.
I also claim entropy.
There are several competing hypotheses. There is the nested
But the
hierarchy.
word random is not in my name for no reason.
Okay.
But it's because of chaos and entropy, yes.
But no, yes, there are several competing hypotheses. There's monophyly, there's nested hierarchies, and there are aspects of those that still need to be further proven. But at the same time, there are
proven at all. But sorry, again, not proven.
Well, but if you go back to the history of where evolutionary biology comes from, it comes from Darwin's work with the birds. And yet we've proven that work doesn't prove evolutionary biology. It only proves distinction within a species, right? It does. Yes. It in no way proves evolutionary biology. Like, that's a fact of evolutionary biology.
But evolutionary biology within species, there is enough to say that I think is pretty well established.
Yes, the observation that species are further differentiating now, just like with the squirrels in Arizona because of the Grand Canyon, or the simple fact that we've got 300 breeds of dogs. It shows that there is a range of genetic traits that we can use. That's the change in the change in allele frequency in a population over time.
Okay? That's still morphological, though.
Yes. But that's the underlying premise behind the entire theory of evolution, is the fact that
it's differentiation in a species with respect to morphology, right? It's not the grand evolutionary concept that amoeba turns into multi-celled organism, turns into fish, lizard, monkey, man. That's not the grand claim is not proven by species distinction. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, but the thing, the what we're waiting on for the disprove on that is literally, you need to figure out where that cutoff line is, and you can't do it going forward because that's not how the evolutionary dating method works. You have to do it going backwards. So you have to figure out where is there a common ancestor between humans and chimps, and if not, why? Because the genetics shows that there's huge relations there, and it shows that we are more closely related to chimps, and whereas chimps are actually more closely related to bonobos.
Abe, I'm gonna tell you something from my life that you can either accept or not. My bridge partner literally runs the paleontology department at a well-respected museum. He's the curator of the paleontology department at a well-respected museum. Trust me when I tell you, I know more about paleontology than I want to know.
Okay.
Right. So nothing in the fossil record proves any of the grand claims of evolutionary biology. That's a fact of paleontology.
Okay. Now, granted, the fact that you would have to use paleontology in order to find the missing links that you guys are asking for.
We're not denying paleontology. We're not saying that paleontology is bad.
Certainly
what
exists.
We're saying is it is wonderful, but the extra stuff that people tack onto it is not there.
You're literally eisegeting. You're literally eisegeting evolutionary biology onto paleontology. You can't do that.
Jesus. Okay.
Okay. let's stick it down to a singular evolutionary experiment then, because the observation was with the whale. The observation was the fact that whales have vestigial bones in their hind fins that would be connected to their hips. Okay, they also have a pelvis for some reason. Okay, that was the observation. The hypothesis is the simple fact that they evolved from a land mammal, and the testable prediction on that is we would be able to go somewhere back into our geologic column and find a four-legged animal that is essentially a combination between what we would see in modern day whales and what we would have seen in pachyderms at that time.
And yet, and that goes back to the Eocene, right? That goes back 50 million years. And yet, in the fossil record, given 6 to 8 million years ago, there's no biped that makes the distinction between apes and humans. There isn't one, and it should be there. 6 to 8 million years ago is when we believe it exists, and we've been digging around things that are 6 to 8 million years deep, and we've never found it.
We've just called them other things.
Okay, that's a claim. That's a claim that I'm not going to accept.
Okay, pan troglodytes, I think, Lucy. Was that not no. Literally us turning around, going out, finding an ape-like ancestor, and then the entire religious community going, that doesn't qualify, that's not even human, you can't call it a homo, it has to be a pan.
Lucy, even in the literature, I believe it's Australopithecus afarensis, you guys can just go read studies on it, right? It's classified as an early human ancestor that proves bipedalism, but it evolved long before large brains evolved, and it's not considered any kind of a missing link between modern humans and our ape ancestors. You can read it for yourself. It's out there for you.
The Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds?
No, Lucy is in the Australopithecus. Sorry, I got that name.
I know.
And Lucy, given the literature that I've read on Australopithecus, right?
Uh-huh.
Lucy is not a direct ancestor of Homo sapiens. I'm pretty sure it's considered an intermediate evolutionary stage, right? But no one believes that she's a direct ancestor of humans. I don't think that's true, given the literature that I've read.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if she's supposed to be a direct ancestor or a divergent species or whatever, but it's
I don't think
morphologically speaking, though.
All I'm saying is morphologically, absolutely right.
Okay.
But genetically, I don't think she's included. Maybe not. I don't know. I'd have to look, right? But I don't think Australopithecus is included in genus Homo. I don't think that's true.
Okay, but there, what is it? You've got Heidelbergensis. You've got,
and again, I would make the same scholarly claims about those very same things, right? I would.
Okay, but see, that's the issue, though. Is like Homo Neanderthal,
not a human ancestor,
but we have Neanderthal DNA,
but not a human ancestor. Interbreeding is not ancestry.
Okay, so now you go over into the Asian population; they also get Denisovan DNA. Again, not a direct human ancestor, but interbred. Correct.
Sure.
Okay. So that right there kind of goes hand in hand with the fact that our species were simpler back then. They were less diverse. And then we ended up having divergent human ancestors that we then interbreeded with again to end up with these genetic markers that show the fact that most Europeans have 2 to 4% Neanderthal DNA. Most Asians have 4 to 5% Denisovan DNA.
I don't know. But that so a lot of those claims are spurious and based on things that aren't actually evidence, right? You can go back and actually read the literature. And again, all I'm begging you to do, if you're in the crowd, read the literature on this stuff if you really want to educate yourself.
A lot more is based on the assumptions than the actual evidence. And the assumptions are we must have come along this chain, so let's find the gaps in the chain. And then, oh, that looks like it might be in that chain, so let's impose it into the chain. Not all of it, but a lot of it.
And again, people in I don't know. I want to make a claim to Denisovian mixing at this point, but I don't think anybody would understand what that means. So I'm just going to say this, right? Around the world in human populations that we can trace DNA back through time, there are differing amounts of these foreign types of DNA, right? So the intermixing, the interbreeding, right, isn't necessary for the evolution of Homo sapiens. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Like, have you followed the either the Y chromosome or used to be called the mtDNA migration charts?
No. My genetics is not my field. I'm a mathematician. I'm a number theorist, and I do applied cryptography and cosmology. That's what I do.
Okay, so the out of Africa study. Have you heard anything about that?
I've heard of it. I don't know its claims.
Okay. So they were able to trace genetically based on the placement of endogenous retroviruses and everything like that, based on our both our Y chromosome and our X chromosome, because Y is produced. There's obviously you're going to have the same Y chromosome as your father. So they were actually able to isolate the Y chromosome in the genetics and go all the way back to Africa and find what they called Y chromosome Adam. And then they did the same thing with the X chromosome to find the most recent common ancestor
There's no way that's true.
for mitochondrial Eve.
Well, but again, even with the out of Africa theory, from what
there's
I
no
know,
way that's true.
and I don't know a lot about
No, it is actually a study. If all you got to do is Google.
It might have been a study. There's no way that they actually found that evidence because we don't know enough about DNA to do that.
We do.
And again, the outward migration of humans from a single point in Africa is hotly debated, and there are many hypotheses on the subject, right? There's no single proven theory about any of that.
Okay, so
there's the multi-regional hypothesis, there's early migrations and failed exits, there's multiple African origins, right? Even in the out of Africa theory, there are many competing hypotheses.
Okay, so the original out of Africa theory was debunked. Yes, it was, because there was literally a thought that all humans diverged out of Africa, which then apparently turned into Neanderthals and Denisovans and then interbreeded. Okay, that one was debunked. The thing is tracing back to Y chromosome Adam and mitochondrial Eve is a different study entirely. What it does is it just traces back the actual genetic data by lineage and goes back to our most recent common ancestor. Okay, Y chromosome Adam and mitochondrial Eve were not the first humans. They're just the last surviving common ancestor. Okay, they were members of a population. They were already human. They had already been established as humans. I think there's almost a 200,000 year gap between the two.
So they found a species, or they found a DNA that had all the DNA of all humans since in it.
Sorry, mitochondrial leave was 200,000 years ago. Y chromosome add was like 150,000 years ago.
Right, and those samples were intact.
Do what?
Those samples were intact
In the genetic data, yeah.
You serious?
Well, there in the literature of this itself, Chris, there's a whole competition based on calibration of what's called the molecular clock, right?
Yes.
So there's a whole bunch of timeline issues, even in competing claims of published papers.
I was telling him about that before. I called it the DNA clock, but sorry.
Yeah. So again, there's an inherent margin of error in all of this data.
Yeah.
Yes, but it does show trends. And the thing is,
it shows trends, but it doesn't show things that we can say, oh, this is definitely the first Adam or the first Eve. We just don't have that. And we don't, even DNA going back that far, we don't have a full DNA chain. We just don't. We have pieces.
And models aren't proof, and trends are only statistical probabilities.
Okay, but those statistical probabilities are still, because it's the same genetics that we're using for this science as it is to do a paternity test.
No, it's similar. It's not the same. There are so many generations of randomness in it that you can't just say it's the same.
Well,
even going back to, like, my dad did a DNA test and it came back that 70% Scottish DNA.
But there's a whole other.
That's not the same as the he's my father DNA test.
Yeah, there's a whole other set of claims in the literature about what recombination actually entails, right? So not only the timelines, but the mechanics of it, right? So again, like even the science itself isn't actually science; it's just guesswork.
Yeah.
Okay.
Random, I'm going to have to call it there, guys, because Fontane's getting up a bit.
I get it.
Some more meds.
You know me, man. I'm praying for you. I hope you do well.
Can I get one thing real quick from Random?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, go.
Random, you are at least scientifically minded. Can you at least concede the fact that while it may be guesswork, even under your hypothesis, it is not unguided?
Oh, I never think it's unguided. No.
Okay.
No. But
so they do actually have genetic plans and stuff like that they go, okay, well, if this is the baseline over here, then if we're wrong, then if we're correct, then the data is going to go show something in this area over
sure,
here.
we use empirical evidence to improve models all the time.
Okay, so there you go, right there. Science is disproven and improved by better science.
Well, by better scientific method, not by better science.
How do you claim better? But okay, fine. Doesn't matter. We have to go anyway.
Yes. Okay.
I've put in the chat CK's channel.
Yeah, they're over there. They're over there yelling at each other about Kelly Powers, and I didn't like it, so I came back here.
Yeah.
The norms.
We can do it about bananas now. Come on.
But
hey, I said a good joke earlier, Chris, and it should have made you laugh, right? When Zonzi compared himself to a banana, I would appeal to the fact that Zonzi is more like a banana.
Yep. It's very appealing for sure.
That is an appealing theory.
It is.
I'll make it better. It's very suitable. I don't know. It's funny to most people. I don't know why.
And thank you, Carnivorous Ape, as well, for the conversation. Thank you all for joining us in the conversation.
Oh, no problem.
It was fun. Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
Yeah.
I normally come up on the panels, but I was chilling today.
Yep.
It's always nice having you up together.
You should do this a little more frequently because we want your channel to really go up, man. Okay.
Yes.
God bless you, man. Bye-bye.
God bless. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.